No, I'm ready. I'm ready. It's been a whole week. You believe that? An
And a
entire
day.
week. And a
day.
And a day. True. I was gonna say it felt like it's been longer than usual. So I'll be dive right back in. It's gonna be wonderful. So, what happened last time?
We fought an air elemental.
You fought it?
Well, we
Well,
let the
freed it.
elemental go.
They
We tracked it
tried
down
to
and
fight
freed
it. They tried, but we freed it from the mithril chains and the rune magic that was on it.
True. In a better world,
After,
Severus
like,
would
Oh, did we
Done
take those? Or
huge
how did we
rampage.
end? Did we take the chains? We could melt those down.
well, that's actually where we ended. Like, we ended as you guys.
I
I'm
think we
pretty sure
went
we
up-
ended
yeah.
when you guys were at the place. I don't think you're back in Rubinium yet.
Yeah,
Like,
we ended
we
up
should take
right
those
after
chains.
Pete
We ended
told me
right then.
I was a dickhead.
Yeah, so we are still in this little town. At this point, you've lost track of the names of the little villages and homes that you guys have passed through, and you are at the ruins of this blown out house. The air elemental's flown away. The town is still coping with the deaths of, the 5 people that are crushed within the home. The chains that were on it are, I believe, picklocked, right?
Yes,
So they were taken off?
yeah,
Yeah, so then
yeah.
there's like one, only a single chain was still on the body, so there's just one chain strewn across the ground. It is huge. Each of the mithril links are about as big as like a person's forearm. And they have these carved symbols into basically every square inch of them. The amount of arcane ability that goes into constructing something like these must be immense, therefore the cost must be, eye-watering.
I'll ride
Is
up
there
and
any
pick them up.
is there any like sigils on it? Anything that could
Like,
be able
A
to
sigil
There's
be
still the
like a
glyph,
house.
right?
no, and yeah, anything that could be able to be traced to who it was owned by.
Roll me an investigation
Made
check. Maximus, you ride up. Renesmee, Lars, and Zedny, as far as I recall correctly, you guys were all staying back in the front of the creature. Are you moving up to the ruined house now?
Yeah, I want to
If it
investigate the
disappeared, I'm
ruined
going in.
house.
Okay. Yeah, you can roll an investigation check, Renesmee. What'd you say, Yogi?
I said if it's gone, I'm rolling up.
All right.
I'm
Yes, it
coming
is
up,
gone.
and-
As far as you can tell, it has flown away at Mach 7. You can't see it anymore. It's invisible, so it may be watching you, but who's to say?
Really
It's
won't
too
cost us a
stupid to
problem
watch
for the
us.
future.
That's fucked up. All right. So, Severus, you begin to look along the length of this thing. You find 1 or 2 glyphs that are still glowing, like with a bluish tint, but they're starting to fade, like pretty rapidly. But other than that, there is no maker's mark. There's nothing like that on these chains that you can find. As for Renesmee, you begin to move through the ruins of this house, and it's like a meteor hit a residential family home with 5 people in it. So it is, horrific. There's obliterated furniture. There's the corpses of the 5 family members. Everything is destroyed. This house is leveled to the ground.
I see. Is there protocol for what is like a respectful way to handle the bodies that I know of?
Well, like, you could bury it, you guys are on the
could
Deadwood
suck 'em
frontier
up.
still, so you could burn them.
Aren't there
There's
townspeople
still
nearby?
a crowd
Yeah, there's a whole
nearby,
town,
right?
staying maybe 100 feet away.
If I yell loudly, will they be able to hear me?
Yes, certainly.
Okay, well, as I'm, near the body, I stand, and I look at the townspeople, and I say, "Come and collect your dead. They deserve a burial."
Yeah, the townsfolk who are staying a bit away, because, who knows what these judges are up to, become brave, and they step forward closer. A older man sort of leads the charge, and about 30 or so villagers move in. They begin to move aside broken timbers and flipped over chairs and tables. They slowly begin to uncover these 5 broken and bloodied bodies.
I go, Hecko's, trying to look at a chain, right?
Yeah, the chain is currently strewn across the neck of Mickey with,
Got
Maximus is trying to get it onto his horse, and Severus is inspecting
Oh, you're just
every
touching
link.
it? Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Should
go
we
up
scratch
to...
out is the glyph thing dangerous? Should we scratch that out? The ward?
We don't know.
I think
Well, it was killing
scratching
the
it out
elemental.
will be. I think
This was
scratching
probably
it out will be
another
more
disease.
dangerous than anything.
Can I also investigate the chain?
What do you look for?
Just-
Just another maker's mark?
Yeah, or if I just recognize those sigils. I don't know, I'm kind of magic
then
aligned. I
that's
like
an
to read
Arcana check.
books. Ah, okay.
All right,
Damn.
so you
It's
look
it's
at
the
these
same one we
sigils.
already saw, right? When we Is it the same kind from the broken keg?
Yeah.
I'm presuming,
Exact same
yeah.
chains, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you inspect this one. There's only 2 glyphs still glowing. In fact, one of them peters out as you look at it, so you only have one to look at. And they seem to be, as best as you can tell, not traditional magic, not arcane, not divine. From all you can tell, they are runic magic, which the only thing you know about runic magic is it's some shit that dwarves do. And that's about the extent of your knowledge on it.
Got it. These
What is
runes,
that, Renesmee?
I believe that they're runic magic. It's not traditional arcane. I think that it's
like
connected.
the dwarves.
Yes,
The
dwarven.
dwarven nonsense. You know, there was
Do
a
I know of any
dwarf that had
dwarves that use
a.
this shit? Like,
the-
high profile?
What were you saying, Maximus? I will get to that
there
in a
was
second.
there was a dwarf back in the city that had a mithril runic shield. We could take it to him. He could tell us what it does or how much it's worth.
There are many dwarves in the city, but that seems like a good lead.
And then, what
yes,
was your
it's
question,
just-
Heko?
I was wondering if I could think of any, like, high profile, like, dwarven runic people. If those, like, others. Oh god, those
The
would
only
be like.
dwarves living in the Empire have been here for 100+ years. Some of them may retain some ability to read runic, but the only runesmiths in the entire world were in a mountain range on another continent. And that mountain range got destroyed by a big old dragon, so best as you know,
Either
there's
someone's
no runesmiths still
rediscovering the
alive.
art, or there's like secret runesmiths.
Maybe there's secret runesmiths, but at least in terms of public knowledge, all you know is that the only runesmiths left have been killed.
Jesus. Or maybe this. Is there any way to tell how old this thing could be?
That's a good question. How would you do that?
Well, magic items usually don't rust, don't deteriorate
True.
really at all.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if there's anything else. Can you read something in the magical signature, maybe? When you detect
So
magic?
if this were arcane magic, we'd be talking a lot more about it, but runes are a fundamentally different, they're a third form of magic, totally separate of arcane and divine traditions. There's no, like, arcane script that is universal, so, yeah, you guys just literally have no idea what you're looking at. This is like someone dropped, like, an alien blaster in front of you, you're just not sure.
August.
Only Fargrim were still here. Maybe he would know.
But not. He was a normal dwarf, not a runesmith, tragically.
Unless.
I almost
Ooh,
played a
true.
runesmith. Almost.
What's your base?
He's been around a long
So,
time. Maybe he had a arc.
True. Are we adding the mithril chain to your inventory?
Yeah, I'll add it onto
It
How
is
heavy is
65 pounds. And that's
Yeah.
mithril, so it's half the weight it would normally be if it were made out of something.
Yeah, fortunately, I can carry that. Mickey is
Lovely.
a strong boy.
Like, even 65 pounds of pure mithril is, like, extremely expensive, right?
I
Even
mean,
if someone was.
with the recent mithril price crash, it's not worth as much as it would have been, but yeah,
Oh,
it's
it-
hundreds of gold.
Worth
Was
like
that
8
price
times
crash?
more than steel or whatever, right?
It's worth 40
Yeah,
times more than
Alright,
steel.
but more importantly, y'all, we can all get mithril weapons.
And armor.
If it's fully
That is
mithril,
true.
yeah.
Mithril
no.
use August.
No plate armor, but yes.
Well, I can't wear that anyway. Look at me.
Can
yes,
I wear
correct.
mithril, Harkon? What is mithril made of?
Mithril is metal.
Heavy, isn't it? Heavy
But
on
is
it.
it like sustainably harvested or like?
No, actually, the dwarves literally destroyed an entire mountain range in millennia past to harvest something from it. It's viewed as the blood of the earth, and they
Yeah,
got
but
as
is it
much of it as
seriously
they could.
neutral?
I look up at my
Wait, isn't it
at my
also heavy on it?
comrades and I
What's the carbon
say,
footprint?
and I say, mithril was pulled from the earth by dwarves who destroyed mountains for it, and you want to wear this as armor.
It's already pulled out. The
I'll
deal
look
is already
down at
done.
my very fancy plate. Is,
You have
is
plate
this any
armor?
different?
Yeah, he does.
Fuck, I'll look at Mickey's, like, fucking, whatever armor
Is
he
that
has.
ready?
I'll look at that.
Yeah, it's
Remember
a
that,
Anything
right?
different?
I roll my eyes. And
That's
can I ask?
what I
Can I
thought.
ask Mickey how the if it's too heavy? If the
You're gonna
chain
talk
is
to
very
his
heavy?
horse right in front of him?
Yeah, right in front of
Yikes.
him, despite him.
All right, you
To be
whinny
clear.
at Mickey, and he looks at you with those big, round eyes and says,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not supposed to talk to you.
I have berries in my bag, Mickey.
And the horse whinnies and sort of wheels about and walks away, dragging a Maximus with him.
No, he knows he can't talk to me with his
I will-
daddy there.
I will immediately give him 3 apples.
Wait,
You're gonna stroke his
I
mane.
yell at Mickey and I
On the
whinny
spot.
louder and I say,
On
I
the
have a
spot.
sugar cube. I do have
What
that
a
in my
good-
inventory.
What a good boy.
Yeah,
You got a sugar cube in your inventory.
Yeah,
I
she
do.
specifically got one. Yeah, Mickey will leave. He knows what he's supposed
Aww.
What a
Later.
good trained boy.
So-
I chuckle.
to do. You guys can leave the ruined house behind. Leave the villagers to clean up the mess. Now, to remind you, while you're actually originally here, this thing that led on this whole wild goose chase, your goal. Actually, does anyone remember why you're originally here?
Absolutely, I do because it's fucking stupid.
Senator died.
Yes. Yeah. Someone.
Is-
Was it a senator?
This
I forgot
guy
his name.
keeps sending us on leads. He thinks he keeps thinking the governor is doing shit, and we keep showing up to places, and it keeps being something completely unrelated to the governor.
It's been twice. You act like it's...
Yes, twice is enough. I'd say that's enough.
Pretty
But
bad track
anyway,
record.
we were out here investigating the death of 2 senators who whoever hired us thinks the governor is killing, but in reality it was just a wind spirit.
Well, what if the governor caused the wind
Wait,
spirits to
2
escape?
senators?
True.
We
I thought that was
we
only
know
one death senator.
okay, we know where the spirit came from.
Oh yeah.
No, we don't.
Yes, we
We
do.
don't
It
at
came-
all.
Is
I'm
Harker-
fairly certain it came from that box that was broken out.
Yeah,
in
but where
one
did the
guy's
box
house.
come from?
Also, are we able
They
to reasonably
they said
conclude
he
they
was
can fit
found
that
carrying
small
it out
space?
of the mountains.
Yeah, so we
Oh.
don't know where it came from.
What'd you say? Joe?
Are we able to reasonably conclude that they can fit into that small of a space and be that big at the same time?
As far as you know, air elementals are kind of funky in the fact that they are totally amorphous. They can shrink and grow as necessary. They can fit through the tiniest of spaces and fit into the largest ones. They are literally just animated air with a slight intelligence to them. But the one thing that is constant is their strength. So even the size of an ant all the way to the size of, a typhon, they're always going to be roughly the same strength.
Does that mean that it can hit
So-
the area of an ant
Oh,
with
did you
like
just
the
got
strength
something?
that destroyed the house with?
Yeah.
So it can, like ridiculous pounds per square inch or some shit like that.
Yeah, air
Oh,
elementals are
jeez.
horrifying. They can also just enter
Interesting.
your
Why
lungs
didn't
and deprime you of air.
That's probably what it did to the one guy, right? Because his throat was caved in or something.
I think it might
We
have
don't
just
know for sure.
bonked him.
But his the veins in his neck were protruding. It was very
Oh.
vulgar. It almost like
Almost like he suffocated to death. Hmm?
yes, but when that
Yeah, excellent.
when that air elemental escaped, I would imagine that if it escaped from that barrel, I don't know, that there would be more damage around the house. Like the people on the estate would have said that there was some sort of windstorm or something, or that he would have, I don't know, been like thrown out of the window, but it looked like he was poisoned.
They just think it wasn't one of the chains missing from the
Well,
chest.
What chest?
The chest that we
chest
saw under his
below
bed.
the bed. Well,
That was a
The
keg,
iron
and it-
keg.
And it was like
Yeah, that-
it was
sorry,
a
that's
ton
what I
of
meant.
chain that were like all explode. Were those mithril chains? Do I know?
Identical chains. There are about 4 sets of identical chains, surrounding the broken open keg.
Okay. And then there was one still around the elemental.
Oh, yeah, that actually makes sense.
All right. So that would mean that are we returning? So there's 2 separate people who were killed. Are we returning to one of their estates?
I would like to just very quickly lay an eye for books, if that
All
is
right.
possible.
So yeah, Severus, you can help them start moving aside. But Esme, you
I
can
want to
look
raise one
through
more
the-
question.
Yeah.
To the party. So, how do you guys think this thing got out? Obviously, the elemental itself can squeeze through space as small as this, but how did it manage to take the chain with it without moving the bed or destroying the wooden floor above the box?
Are you asking in character or out of character?
Yes.
In
character.
character. Got it.
It seems weird that it carried this chain around it, but then the chain just went through the boards? Or did someone make a effort to purposely hide the fact?
Do you think that someone could have broken it out? Like, that someone could have poisoned him? For example, if someone knew that the air elemental was in the iron keg, poisoned the senator, and then broke the air elemental out for some reason. I just can't imagine a logical reason,
then
but...
Master Word, yeah, it seems illogical that I don't think the air elemental, in as much pain as it was, would even consider putting back the bed over the spot to hide that the chest was captured in. I don't think we'll
And
think
maybe
of
he
that
got
at all.
out some other way.
Someone certainly did that.
And somehow, I don't know if maybe the runes weren't
We should
activated
go
yet,
back
but there
for some more
wasn't...
questioning.
There wasn't
Well, we
like a
should
lot of
go to the
physical
bed
damage.
and actually look at the scene.
I feel
up
as
close.
if that is all unnecessary.
Yeah?
What's
Why?
an
Oh,
air
no.
element?
What's your theory on how the chain was stayed around the elemental?
It can get big. It can get small.
Okay,
the chain
that's
doesn't get
true,
big or
but
small
the
with
bed
it.
was unmoved and the
Are
planks
any
were
of
still
you
down.
experts on air elementals or that house?
Are you?
No, but
I mean, the
But-
chains
no,
weren't
exactly
growing and
why.
shrinking,
That.
and I don't see how the chains could have got through the bed.
Why can't the chain grow and shrink? The thing could go invisible with the chain on.
We saw
Yes, but it would
why
still
can't
be a
it
large
grow
shrinking.
with
chain.
the
Harkin,
chain?
did we see the
I wanna-
chain shrink when it was
Wait,
shrinking?
I want to step up to Maximus and put like a hand on his shoulder, and say, and like put like a firm grip and say, if someone tried to rip out your bones right now, the skin above would break, correct?
I
The
suppose,
flesh
yeah.
between.
Yep.
And in order to make it whole again, someone would have to heal you, or sew it back
No,
together. Would have to.
I get
Right.
I get what you're saying, right? I get that you're saying that the bed might have to be moved, but we don't know the bed had to be moved. Could be some other way it could have gotten out we don't know about. It's an air elemental. I personally don't know a lot about them. I don't know what they can and can't do. Do you?
Exactly more reason why we should be investigating it. Something seems to line up by the way we saw the air elemental behaving. Just
Yeah.
because there
Also,
was an
considering
air
how
elemental
much
involved. Yes.
Look at how much force it was dosing out here. It literally destroyed buildings with a single jump, and it didn't leave a single chair knocked over in that room. That seems entirely odd. Don't you think it would just wreak havoc in its
It's an
path?
air elemental. They're
I
weird
agree.
things. But
They are.
if you say so.
I think
To
we should
reference
go and
something, to reference something Yogi said, you asked me, did the chain shrink with it? Decreased in size, because you're right, it went from the size of a typhon down to the size of like a humanoid. And yes, the chain, the glyphs flared up on it, and it would go and shrink as the air elemental did stuff.
Oh, the chains shrink.
Got it.
Never mind. Okay, all of this is plausible.
Can we find out who
all
sent him
right,
this keg?
All right.
Does it matter?
I'm pretty convinced the air elemental did all of this.
But I'm saying, do we
So-
care who's trapping elementals and sending them in kegs to rich people?
I feel
Yes,
like
I think that is
he trapped it
highly
himself.
suspicious, and we should tell that to who would take care of that? Is that the Department of Faith,
I feel like he
Elementals?
trapped
War?
it himself.
or like magical misgivings?
Probably Department of Magic.
Oh, Misgivings, Department of Magic, probably.
Oh, that is the Department of Magic. I couldn't read that because purple and gray is hard to read for me.
Me too.
I think
Is-
for
is
everyone.
there a reason-
changed the color
Is
of
there
it,
a
but-
reason he couldn't have trapped it himself?
Not necessarily, no. But he
You know,
was
he's a
extremely
mountain
prepared.
A mountain man.
He was a human, right?
Yep.
Consider this as well. As we encountered the air elemental, it seemed like the glyphs on the chains were shrinking him. Like when he came out, he had all of this power, and slowly, as the glyphs were activating, it was in pain and it was decreasing in power. Wouldn't logically
Yeah,
that mean that when he escaped from the iron keg, he would have been at his largest and most powerful? Or did he start small
Well,
and
they
then
can
somehow
shrink
grow
at will.
big?
I
and then-
imagine it could have been but
Mm.
because it could have chosen to be small or chosen to be big.
Also, the keg itself had a lot of other chains around it, so maybe those chains were even further siphoning its power, making it smaller.
Perhaps.
However, these chains are of incredible making and extremely expensive. This
Yes.
man might have been a senator, but I'm not sure that even a regular senator could afford anything like this.
Is
Well-
that true, Harkon? Just from like basic knowledge of money.
I mean, this would be absurdly expensive. Like, just the mithril alone would be gold. Now, this guy is a former proconsul. Like, he is a former leader of legions. He's not
Mhm.
poor by any means. So
and the
it's
government
not-
gets funded well. Like they
Yeah.
get paid well.
Yeah, well, no. But as a legate, you're able to take any booty taken from the lands that you pillage, like, as personal wealth. So, legates tend to be some of the wealthiest people in the empire. So it's not. I mean, it's
Oh.
not ridiculous.
Okay, it's not ridiculous.
Yeah, he's
I
one
thought
of the
this-
wealthiest men in the whole province, probably.
As
we
for the
could just
governor-
go back and report what we saw, and he can have us investigate further if he wishes, or he can have us drop it.
Do you believe
Perhaps
that the
he'll have
governor is
some-
involved? I don't see
Absolutely
any.
not.
Yeah, I don't see any reason that he would be.
I see zero evidence of that. Anyone else disagree?
I mean, I'd like to know where the keg came from.
I mean, he's
You
He's a
think the governor
proconsul.
could have supplied it?
I don't know.
he may have
Someone
just
could
had
have.
it. Proconsuls are incredibly
Yes,
wealthy.
but he could also just have had it.
Yes.
Either way, we should contact the Department of Magic. That there was some irregularities, and they'll do the rest, I guess. And we should go back to Rivenium.
Yes, absolutely, we should.
All right, so we're in the quickest path back to Ravinium, or are we going back to the homes of the dead men and like letting them know that the culprit has been found? I don't know if you care about.
I think we do, right?
Yeah, we probably should, just for like. We need to keep up our appearances.
It'll
feel like that's
it'll
kind of
raise
our
a bunch
duty.
more questions that I feel like we're just gonna.
Should we
Have
write
the
them
answer
letters
and-
then? So that we can inform them,
we
but they
can-
can't really talk back too much.
We can tell the senator to write them letters.
The senator dead? Or do you mean our senator? that
No,
we're
I mean
working
ours.
for?
Whoever's in charge of us.
I forget his name.
The old guy.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
god,
did I.
old Senator Viria. How could you forget his name?
That guy right there. That guy. Just tell him to send a letter.
All right, so we're headed straight back to Ravinium then.
Yeah.
All right.
I suppose so. Or shouldn't
I mean, we
shouldn't
could
we
go back and get the rest of those chains.
and the
you know.
autopsy as well?
that
we never,
seems like a bad
we never
idea.
went and found out the conclusion of it.
I mean, if you really want to. I feel like we're pretty agreed on the cause of death. If you want to.
I just feel like if they're doing an autopsy, it must be for a reason. Like there must be something to glean.
Well, because
And if
we
there's
didn't
not, then we can
know-
leave immediately and just say that we're continuing our investigation.
All right. I don't care.
All right, so that means you begin to retread your footsteps back towards the estate of the first senator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You guys get on horseback, leave the townsfolk to pick up what had already been ruined, and you begin to ride back along the road. Move through stands of tall trees on a dirt path. Frankly, at this point, you're not even really sure where you are. You're just sort of following the signs of destruction left in the wake of the air element. But you pass through you pass through another community with a flipped barn. You pass through a farming estate with, a mourning family. And finally, you arrive back at the estate.
Wait,
Yeah?
I want to give the Morning family one of my electron pieces.
Okay. Yeah, you ride off from the main group and head over to that farm. The young man who told you about the death of his father is, beginning work on that same roof where his father died, but he looks absolutely devastated, along with many of the other people.
And I'll just
working on
tell
the
him-
property.
And I'll just tell him, I know this won't be able to help with any of your grief, but maybe we'll help you rebuild and recover.
He sort of just nods and, continues his work.
And I'll say as I leave, the Empire takes care of him.
Yeah, he'll nod as you leave. And you guys can continue along the main path to the estate of the first senator. The property has thoroughly moved out. Like, they were beginning the process of moving furniture and stuff out of the estate when you guys first arrived, but now almost the entirety of the furniture that was once inside the property is now on the front lawn, outside of it. You can see that it hasn't been quite a full day, but it's been the better part of a day, so the sun's starting to go down. It's getting very, very late as you guys arrive at this this old property that you're here before. You don't see the cleric or the physician, but you do see many workers attending to the different things about the property, cleaning up the leaves, tending to the hedges. Same as before.
Should we tell them what happened too, or should we just
No,
keep
no,
them in the
let's-
dark until the and let
Yeah,
them
let's just go find the two that were in charge.
tell them the whole
Yes.
truth?
Just tell him an air elemental killed him. The thing that he brought
Well-
back from the
Well,
mountains.
what if they were complicit in doing all of this?
Yes, perhaps we
I-
just ask them what they believe their cause of death was, without telling them
okay.
anything at first.
Sure, we can. Sure.
Well, I thought they already told us they thought it was poisoning or suicide per poisoning.
But they were doing an autopsy, and we were
Yeah.
gonna ask them what they found or something. You
Sure.
never know. Better to withhold at first, and then change our minds.
So you guys
Can we
are going
find
to go
them?
seek out you guys can find the cleric and the
Mhm.
physician. There is that mausoleum out back behind the main estate, and that is where you find them. The cleric is speaking to the old widow, just sort of bits away from the mausoleum, while the physician seems to be trying to clean his smock, which is splattered with blood.
Hello.
The physician glances over and walks over to you and says, judges, welcome back.
Thank you. What did the autopsy yield?
It's the strangest poisoning I've ever seen, but they certainly support some sort of paralytic or perhaps even a hemotoxin.
What'd you find?
Well, there was of course the tightening around the neck, and when we went inside to the body, there was evidence that he drank from the whiskey. Cutting the throat open, it almost seemed like he was suffocated, but there was no bruises on the exterior, meaning it had to be something against it.
Had to be something
Choke.
what?
Would choking not cause the same
What?
effect? Choking on something?
Well,
Was there
choking
something
would,
in his windpipe, maybe?
But exactly, there was nothing obstructing the trachea, nor nothing large enough that had begun to get digested in his stomach.
Interesting. Is that the only strange finding that you uncovered?
About it. Best as we can
Well-
tell, he still voluntarily ingested something, poisoned him.
Interesting.
Um,
Does he keep any records of where he travels? But a journal or
I wouldn't
I don't
know.
know. A
I
map?
only visit him in the medical assistance.
I see. My apologies.
Yes, could we? Is the widow? Is she?
The
I
physician
don't
glances
think-
over at the cleric and shakes his head and says, I believe, the servant and the cleric believe that your investigation shouldn't be brought up in front of them. They believe she should move on.
Move on so quickly.
Can we talk to the servant then?
Yes, of course. I believe he's preparing dinner. We'll find him. I need to cleaning up here.
I'll head over, immediately.
Yeah, me as well.
All right. You guys
okay.
you guys make your way to the kitchen.
We're back in the original town, right?
Estate, but yeah.
The rich
Yeah.
boy's estate.
Yeah.
Can I have Hagal try to investigate the bedroom again to see if he finds some kind of journal?
Head Hagal rolls off your shoulder, and the rest of you guys begin to make your way to the kitchen. you can find there that there are 4
Wait.
servants working very fervently to try to prepare a feast. The master's servant is sort of standing in the corner of the room watching them as they cook, not saying anything, but like pursing his lips when he sees something that's like him. And as you guys enter, he'll turn from the cooking people and look towards you and say, judges, welcome back.
Quick note, Hakon, I kind of want I was intending to kind of split off from the party here and just kind
I
of
don't
go
think
through the
that-
building and see if I can find the widow.
Well, the widow, you already saw the widow. She's speaking with the cleric, like maybe 30
Oh, she's
feet away from
speaking with the
physician.
credit.
Yeah, with the cleric.
Oh, I thought she was like back in her home and they just decided that we shouldn't talk to her. Okay,
Nope.
never mind then.
Yeah, so the servant looks towards, I know that at least Renesmee said she was going, so the servant looks towards you and says, well, judges, welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you. I was wondering, what do I call his superior, his master? Like, did your master? Is that...
Yeah.
Okay. Did your master keep any record or logs of his adventures and traveling, such as a journal, a map?
No.
None at all.
Were you
As I
familiar
said
with
many
his
times
history?
What about
before,
a ledger for his purchases of these kegs?
What kegs?
His
The
wine
iron
kegs.
Oh, yes, of course he is. I could probably find the accountant. I believe he's over in Novidium. We rarely need his assistance in cleaning up the books.
Yes.
Has your master ever bought any chains?
Of course.
Maybe also get ledgers for those.
Have you found anything to indicate this was a wrong
Suppose...
death?
Yes, we have.
Yes.
Well, I spoke with the physician and the cleric, and they both seem to be pretty certain the cause of death, and this feels like needlessly prying into the former consul's business.
Well, we found something that aligns with their theory. They haven't actually found poison. They just can't explain it any other way. But we found the necessary explanation.
Well,
It is
I
a
think
judicial matter.
we should just tell him.
Yeah, I think
It
we
would-
can tell the servant.
It would okay. Yeah, it would make things easier. All right, you remember that iron keg you brought back from the mountain?
yes.
There was an air elemental inside of it.
Sentient wind?
Yes.
Yes.
It escaped, and that's what's been causing the destruction throughout the countryside.
And that's why it looked like he suffocated without anyone choking him, because it literally took the wind out of his breath.
You have evidence of this?
We found the elemental.
Several
And we
eyewitness
found
accounts in
a
the city
small-
up
Yes,
blank.
We
have
found a
lots of
small
eyewitnesses.
trapdoor underneath your master's bed. Underneath that was the iron keg surrounded by chains. Chains that had runes inscribed into them and had a huge hole burst into it. The same chains that were found around the air elemental once we dealt with it.
Yes, which we have one of those with us, and we have eyewitness reports confirming that they saw those chains on the elemental.
So as you can
And
see,
we
we will
have-
be needing
we
the
have-
ledgers.
We have 5 judicial eyewitness accounts as well.
The servant sort of reels backwards. It's a lot to take in. He's not entirely certain. He just sort of looks at you all a little bit confused, but as the seconds pass and no one's like cracking a smile or anything to indicate that this is a joke, he just sort of slowly nods and says, all right, I don't get how
You
your
didn't know of
requests
any of
relate
this,
to what
did
you
you?
said.
I'll look at the others. I don't think that's necessary.
Don't
we
think
can
what's
just
necessary.
the ledgers or further investigation.
Well, I think
Well,
it'd be interesting to find out how he got the idea of getting the elemental.
He's
Where he got
probably
the
had it
chains
for a
from.
while. That's probably the reason he keeps going up to the mountains so often.
Think so?
do you think that your master would want to capture an air elemental and keep it under his bed?
Yeah. What's the purpose of that?
I'm asking that to the servant.
The servant has no idea. He's just like looks and says, "I've never."
Does he look baffled?
Yeah, I mean, you guys just hit him with a lot of shit. He has no idea what's happening.
Well,
Yeah.
Maximus, see, it seems illogical that he would just want to keep an air elemental underneath his bed. I think that having some sort of explanation for this behavior and those actions would be proper. Don't you agree,
Yeah.
servant?
He is totally. He just says,
Yeah, I
don't
think he's
know."
in a bit of a shock.
Wouldn't you agree that an explanation to all of this would be in order?
Yes.
I think there's a pretty reasonable explanation. He wanted one.
Oh no.
And
As
you
much as
spoke
I
with
want a
him.
dragon, I wouldn't be keeping one in my bathroom now.
I agree. I wouldn't be sleeping on top of one either. And it seems like, whether it was him or a friend of his helping him, he went through a great deal of effort to get those chains and those runes and that iron keg to go and trap an air elemental, albeit. Why?
Yeah.
I don't think we're ever going to find the reason out. I think the only person who knew that is, well, I'll look at the mausoleum.
Well, I
Over
don't know
there.
if that's
Well,
true,
not with that attitude, Maximus,
There's-
but with Severus and I's chipper attitudes and go-get-him personalities. I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of this. I smile.
I should never
Ironically.
have left the army.
The servant sort of haltingly speaks and says, "An investigation would be good, but he kept no journals. I have no idea how long. I mean, I know how long he's in the mountains, but I don't know what he did there. I don't know where he traveled to. I don't know anything about the chains that you asked about. Even if we brought an accountant here, it's not as if he was recording everything he did during his travels.
And his wife?
About her.
I assume he would speak with her. Is he the kind of man that has a close relationship with his wife, or were they distant?
I don't think she can help you. And I don't
Did
think
she
you should
share
bring up
any of
this
his
theory of
hobbies?
yours to her.
It's
Theory.
not
I
a
don't
theory.
either.
Well, you have
yes,
an
sorry,
air
it's not a
elemental
theory.
with you?
Oh, yeah.
We do not need to
4 witness
drag an
reports
air
of
elemental here.
judges not enough to you? Pretty sure that's enough in front of a imperial court.
Well, you're not a judge. And,
Well, I'm
So-
not, but 4 other people that witnessed it are.
well, perhaps, but I'm not speaking from a legal perspective, I'm speaking from a personal one. Known her for years and years, and believing that her husband has passed to suicide is far less painful than believing he was killed and will never catch the killer.
I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying it's not just a theory. It's what happens.
Why do you
Shielding
think
her
so
from the
little of
truth
her?
might still be worth
Yep.
it. But also, she deserves to know. I'm sorry for interrupting you, Maximus.
Why do you think so little of her?
I don't think so little of her. I think greatly of her, and I wouldn't like to see her harmed further by speculation that will lend her no closure.
Don't you think she deserves to
Can
know?
I do like an insight check to see if he's like in love with her?
How the fuck would you
In
insight
love.
check that?
Can I just like insight check if he's
just
like
a mega fucking sexist?
Can I like go and like zoom in his eyes and see if like, dial when he looks at her?
He's not looking at her.
Okay, can I just like see
He's not
his
even in the
body
room.
language? Listen, I have no proficiencies in this. This would be a god roll anyway.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm just
roll,
like
yeah.
suspicious.
Roll
Sure, he's
insight
literally
check.
trying to just lessen the weight of the death.
Yeah,
on
you know, I think he does care
life.
for her. Almost like he has served her for a really long time as her servant.
Fucking hell.
Alright, but here's the real question. When he talks about her, does any of his tone indicate aversion or loss of respect? Like he
Well,
thinks
you've
of
heard
her
his
lesser?
tone, so what do you think?
I think they're fucking.
Well, I don't know if his tone indicates
Damn.
it, but the way he's talking certainly indicates that he thinks she's like a fucking stupid child who
Yeah.
can't handle anything. Like, is this like a normal thing? Is this just our medieval society, everyone's sexist, or is this like an extraordinary
well,
example?
there is like legal sexism in the Mythosian Empire, but women are also it's interesting. Like a commoner woman, like a peasant woman, has basically no prospects in life. She's omega fucked. But noble women are actually some of the wealthiest people in the empire because they inherit their estate after. So their women tend to own more property in the empire than any other group of people.
Yeah, so they're considered like, but are they considered like?
like weak or
educated.
emotionally volatile.
I mean, sure, I guess, but not like
Or-
to the point where it would totally like this. This is
So we
uncommon.
are talking to Andy.
Is she putting on? Is she crying a lot? Is she doing
Yeah,
the
she's
thing
been
where
every time
you
you've
cry
seen
a
her,
lot?
you've seen her twice, and she's been like.
Is it a real cry or is it like a I need to?
How would
impress
you
my
be
dog
able
cry?
to tell that?
Did
You can
close
tell
the
when someone's
kids?
got crocodile tears.
Not
Come
if they're
on.
good at it.
Is
What,
she good at it?
Her
Yeah,
husband
well,
literally fucking died.
You
Why
guys
do
have talked to her.
everyone
You guys
yell
have
at
seen
each
her
other?
from afar twice. I don't think that's enough to make any.
Confused.
Yeah, I don't
Wait,
think that's
there's
enough
the
to make any
difference between
substantial opinion.
her husband died. We should tell her like what actually happened, and
Okay,
her husband died.
There's a lot of out
we
of
should,
character
like,
stuff. The
make
servant's
up
just gonna
random
sort of
shit.
stamp his foot on the ground and say, "If you'd like to look into these ledgers, I can go fetch them for you, and you can take a look yourself. But if there's not going to be any chance of catching whatever did this, whether it be an aerial elemental or I don't know something else, there's no chance of catching it. I see no reason to inform her about it. Her husband's dead. That's enough.
I
She's
agree.
gonna assume he killed himself, right?
Yes." He chose to
I
leave on
think
his
it's-
own terms rather than something that is uncatchable tearing him from this world.
What if she blames herself?
Jesus Christ! Yeah, are you like?
She deserves to know the truth
I'll-
and then do with that
Alright.
truth what she wishes. Telling her that her husband killed herself when we also have no proof of that makes absolutely no sense. I, personally, would love to know the well, not love, but, you know, I would prefer
I'll go
to
fetch
know
those
the truth.
ledgers for you, and you can look
Yes,
into
you
the
should.
pegs
Does
and chains.
this guy seem like he's like faking his emotions? Like, does this game seem like an utter sociopath?
Roll an insight check.
You know, takes one to know one, so surely I can find out.
That's not Severus.
Fuck!
Yeah, I mean, he's either really good at. He's either telling you the truth and he actually does feel this way, or he's just a good faker.
There's
And
no
now
way this guy is, like, such a
Renesmee.
mastermind.
Yeah, it's the same shit for both of you.
He's
Either-
just a wit guy.
Fuck!
Yeah,
Nice
he's gonna
effort,
walk away,
honest.
kind of angrily. Exit the kitchen.
Well, does that mean that she's alone now?
No, she was never with this guy.
I'm following him.
She was
Oh.
with the cleric and the physician out back.
Just
I
go
want to
talk
follow
to
the.
her. Who's gonna
I
stop?
want to follow the servant where he's going, but I don't
Yeah, sure.
want him to notice.
Renesmee, just go talk to her.
Yeah.
All right, so Severus is following the servant to go get the ledgers. Renesmee and Yogi, are you good? Renesmee and Zednius, are you guys gonna go talk to the wife where she's speaking with the cleric out back?
Did they have any
Really
pets in
helps.
this household?
Not that you found. Other than
Let's
livestock, but I
some
wouldn't consider
department
those
number
pets.
go down.
No,
What'd
I
you
was
say,
thinking
Dota?
of-
Surely this won't make some department number go down.
No, I'm.
Actually, we'll make it
we're
go
not
up.
wasting massive amounts of time here.
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
it's fine.
I told Hegal what the only thing I actually care about is if he actually had a journal of like
Yeah.
what he's trying to do. I don't care as much about like, oh, she needs clothes. I don't care.
Yeah, no.
All right, Severus, roll me a
as well
stealth
as
check. And Renesmee, you can begin to walk out back towards the woman, the grieving
no,
widow,
I-
and the cleric. Oh,
I don't really care
Oh.
too much about like informing her. I just want to get to the bottom of this. Like, I think that they are being sexist, and I am like pissed off at it. But I don't want to like fuck up the judicial.
okay. So the four of you are
Crew.
just waiting outside back for him to grab the ledgers and bring them to you, and Severus
Yeah.
is following him. Okay.
Yeah.
If
Alright.
I had a higher suspicion that
Wait,
he was
okay,
being overtly
so here's-
sexist, I would.
So here's my idea to follow him, okay?
Sure. It's a house with, just for context before you say this, there's like 20, 30 servants in this house, so they are going to see you. The question is, does the head servant?
Right, so as I, well, this is the important thing, right? As I leave the kitchen, I want to just like grab like a random kitchen utensil that's like on the thing, just on the counter, just like grab it, and when I like walk through the door frame, or like at any place where so no one at least can see me, I want to cast disguise self on myself and disguise myself as a kitchen servant.
Okay,
One of the ones I
sounds
just
good.
saw.
Yeah, that makes sense. So as you guys are waiting up back, Hedhagal rolls back up onto your shoulders, Zednius.
Yep.
Letters.
Ooh,
Ooh.
August.
Burned.
God damn it.
Show me.
He flashes a mental vision. You feel the anguish it takes for him to show you this, but he shows you a fireplace across the hall from the office as originally investigated. It seems to be a bedroom, and in the fireplace it is chock full of ash.
Am I near Yogi?
Mm-hmm.
Or Zednius?
Yeah, you guys are all.
I look over at Zednius. Well, do I have to do something to, like, if I noticed him
You
talking
absolutely
to
would
himself?
not. This is all mental.
Oh, he was saying that in his head.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Oh,
how we
never mind.
communicate.
He only whispers.
NDM.
Well, I'll make my way over to the fireplace and dig through to see if I find
Well,
anything
you'd have
still
to go
intact.
upstairs into this house and then up to the second floor. I don't know if you want, like, technically you're allowed to, I guess, but
What time of day is it?
it's getting late.
Okay. I guess I could have Hagal dig through it, or I mean, how many people are here? Is it just the cleric, the physician?
So it's the four of you guys right directly behind the house, maybe a couple hundred feet away near the mausoleum. The physician, the cleric are speaking with the wife, and then there's servants crawling all around the property, tending to hedgerows, cleaning trees, and continuing their manual labor.
Was the fireplace behind the locked door?
Fireplace locked door. I don't think Hagal would have checked if it was locked or not.
Oh, okay. Right. I guess I'll ask him to dig through and see if he finds anything intact, if he's down for that.
Yeah, he sort of
some secrets.
rolls off your shoulder a little bit slower than usual and says, "Dirty."
Aww.
But he'll roll off your shoulder and head into the house. And you can look directly through his eyes since he's within 100 feet of you. So, Severus, normally, I guess since you're disguised, there's no reason to roll anything. You can follow the servant. He heads through the first floor towards a servant's chamber. He heads inside there. You can go in and just act like you're, rifling through your stuff. And you can see him reach into drawers and pull out one large ledger book. He begins to flip through pages, looking for something. And when he finds the page that satisfies him, he exits the room and begins to walk back towards the back of the house.
Alright.
You just follow him this whole way?
I'll follow him, for the most part, and then, just, diverge from him, get out of sight, and leave.
Alright,
Once
you dip out of
once I
sight.
ascertain he isn't doing anything suspicious.
Yeah, sure. You can rejoin the group 10 seconds before he arrives there. You guys just see a cook walk over, and then Severus sort of step out of the cook's skin. It's a very weird illusionary effect. And he's with you guys. Okay, no comment on the skin stepping. Augers.
I don't know what a skin. Wait, sorry. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, so a cook walks around the corner, and then
Yeah.
what it looks like is Severus just walks out of his body, and then the body sort of fizzles and fades.
That's weird.
So Severus
Anywho.
was
That seems like a
pretending to
handy
be
trick.
the cook.
Yep.
Yes, I was disguised with magic.
Severus, what did you just do?
Oh, I was checking if he wasn't going into a weird room trying to clean up evidence.
No, I
Just
mean,
followed him a bit.
but I meant you just stepped out of
What?
a.
Later, Renesmee, later.
What?
The servant comes
magic.
out back holding a large ledger and says,
Mm.
"Well, I found records on the purchasing of several heads for the property. Chains.
That's all right. What about the keg?
Well, the wine kegs were purchased from Estenia, you saw in Pavarant about a year and a half.
What
No,
about
the-
Is
the
there a
iron
way to
one.
get
Metal
that written
keg?
out in
The
chat?
iron
Pretty
one.
please.
They were purchased from across the ocean about a year and a half ago. And the iron one, there's no record of it. Unless it's listed as a regular keg, but
Would it be normal
Well-
for him to purchase kegs across the ocean?
oh, that's where the finest wines are.
Ah. Across the ocean where, specifically, if we might know?
Tucson, Cavaranth, and Estenia.
Tucson,
Holy poggers. The Witcher?
Cabarant, Ticinia?
Estenia.
Asthenia. You could imagine me writing this
Oh,
down or
DLC.
something. Alright. And how much were these purchased for? Is there a record of
Wait,
it?
Renesmee, what relevance does this? At this point, why? Why?
Call it curiosity. like smirk or not
Alright,
smirk. I like
then,
shoot him a
well.
little smile.
He bought 2 song gold for 500 gold pieces a keg. He bought one of those. Expensive. He bought Dwarven Ale for 50 gold a keg. He bought Stenian Red. 7 gold.
50 gold pieces a keg of what?
500 gold pieces for a keg of 2 song gold.
Is that normal?
Ah.
It's one of the most expensive vintages. He bought a rare one from 1212.
Jesus. 500 gold. That's
He has
incredible.
good taste.
And a lot of money, clearly.
Well, thank you for your help. Do any of
course.
my fellow judges have any last questions?
No! No!
I'm ready
Maximus,
to get
why
back
don't
to
you go out and
Ravinium.
pet your horse? I can tell that you're itching.
He's
to
already
get
on
out
his
of here.
horse, Giga Chad.
Joke's on ya, got him! I will pet Mickey
He walked
from my
on
horse
into
while
the kitchen
staring
on the horse.
down at her.
Well, he's just
His
outside
horse
back.
literally shit in the kitchen.
No, you guys are all Tywin moment. No, but you guys are outside.
Yeah, exactly that was what I was picturing.
Anna.
I wheel Mickey around and he shits on one as my squirrel.
No, no.
Oh my
no,
gosh.
You cannot make your horse shit at will. It is still an independent creature.
Damn it.
Now, Renesmee,
How's that not
if she's in
so
violent
bad?
shape, morph different.
Trained it for
but-
years. Come on.
Oh god.
True. I can turn into a horse and
Owl
shit
bear
on
shit.
you, Giga Chad.
All right.
Right.
Well, where does
so yeah,
the shit come from? Do you
That's-
wild shape
that's
with
actually
like
true.
the shit you have inside of you
No,
currently?
no.
Or
have
do you
to
get
eat
like
your
a
stuff.
Okay,
like,
stop.
proportion of
Anyway,
Stop.
horse
Stop.
No,
So
probably
anyways-
has
We're gonna
to
get to the
eat
weirdest
while in
question.
wild
Stop.
shape.
So, anyways, the servant sort of folds up the ledger, closing it, and says, "Well then, it seems as if you already have the transportation you need. If you'll be heading back to the city now, then I believe our business has concluded."
Yes, it has. Let's go.
All right, best of luck, judges. And
I nod.
I'll head back inside the state.
And we leave. I'll look around at everyone. I take that as a yes.
I have no
Yep.
objections.
All right, yeah, no one speaks up, meaning you're probably headed home. So
Yep.
you guys
Thank God.
get onto your horses and you begin to travel back to Ravinium. This whole thing took about a day. So it's late, very late, as you guys are returning to the city. Probably around 10, 11 o'clock. And riding along the road, you're getting not exhausted. That's a condition, but tired, very tired. The countryside has really taken all energy out of you. You didn't get a lot of chances to eat because you were running around almost the entire day. So as you see the city of Ravinium, it feels good, knowing that you'll soon be in warm beds, given the immense
Early.
kindnesses of the center. You guys head through the gate. Judge's badge is all it takes to head through. You make your way to the senator's estate. There are servants, even despite the ridiculously late hour. There's a servant sitting on the front porch, her eyes sort of closed, drifting off, and lights are still kept on the estate while all the other ones around it are dark.
I don't know, like, I would just want to say to Renesmee, but by the way, I just did this simple illusion magic, and I'll cast minor illusion to have like a vague shape of like a, let's just say like a rock appear in the air.
Yeah.
It's just a bit more than this.
You do it on other people.
No, I think it's. Check. I don't think I can. I think it's
Oh,
limited
the
to
sky's
myself.
self, right?
Well,
This guy's self is. I'm pretty sure is limited on self. Yes.
I was going to say you could try and, I don't know, cast a mustache on me, but
Based.
I'll minor
That's very
illusion mustache
interesting.
on her.
Yeah, true. A minor,
But-
minor illusion mustaches will look horrible. Like super obvious that it's like a filter, but I mean that's
Yeah, and as soon as you move it, it starts like
Yeah.
flying in the end front of
he,
her.
he puts one on me?
yeah, minor illusion.
Oh, what does it look like?
It's like a twirly French kind of thing.
Like, go in the air and I, like, try to swivel it with
Yeah, the
my
second
finger.
you move, it
Oh.
dissolves because it'll break up upon.
Ah, that was so fun.
Wait, it
Well,
breaks
well-
up upon you touching it?
Very useful.
Well, yeah, when her hand passes through it, the illusion would break up, like sort of. Like
Oh,
when
thank
ran
you,
through a
whoever
hologram.
drew that. That's beautiful.
That
So
is-
you guys on horseback approach the porch. This time the woman wakes up hearing the sounds of clopping horses approach. And
Can't scare.
she wakes up and stands up. Oh, judges! I was beginning to think you want to come back at all.
Yes.
Well, we did.
Oh.
Well,
Here
3
we
of
are.
us have been ordered to stay up awaiting your return. What would you like for dinner?
Oatmeal, if
I'm betting,
that's
yeah, she
still
would love
available.
oatmeal.
Oatmeal? We have ribs for you, Master Lars.
Thank you.
Do
All
you
right,
have
well,
more meat?
I'll go wake up the stable hand to tend to your steeds. And
Anything with meat for me?
she nods, and she heads inside, and by the time you guys have gotten off your horses and put away your adventuring gear, and probably for the soldiers taking off their armor, and you head into the dining room, there's a feast prepared for you. The servants all look exhausted, but such is why they are paid. And you will be able to dig down and eat heartily. Again, some of the best food you've had since you've been in the South. You're given wine if you'd like it, ale, though that is becoming increasingly sparse throughout the whole empire, or Dwarven ale at least. And
Why is that?
because the kingdom that make it got blown up.
Oh no.
I mean, not literally blown up, like destroyed.
Vanessa would like to try the
Well,
wine.
I mean, sort of.
Yeah, kind of blown
Ethan, your characters ruin all the culture.
Am I allowed to get wine tipsy?
You can get wine
Bondi
tipsy,
did not
certainly.
cause the collapse of Dwarven society. All right.
Because if
Not
it's good
again.
wine, Vanessa doesn't drink much, but if she, tries some wine,
Yeah,
and then she has another cup,
Let me
and
get
another
wine.
cup, and another cup,
Yeah,
she's
certainly.
Yeah.
feeling.
As Renesmee has more and more, I'm just gonna give her just a more and more disgusted look.
Bro.
Wait, is she like pouring her drinks herself?
Of course, yeah. The servants are not like
Oh.
directly serving you; they've just placed the feast before you.
Oh, I was gonna have the servant water the wine down with her progressively
Not quite.
through the evening.
You begin to get
I
wine.
don't know how drunk you want to make me, Harkon. You can decide.
What's your
Oh,
problem?
well, yeah. The in Mythosian society,
Uh-oh.
no. In Mythosian society, the like popular wine is very sweet stuff with very little alcohol content. So it's like, so
I'm
you
just
you're not
tipsy.
just a little bit tipsy, not
Yeah,
very drunk at all.
They think that I'm still being, composed, all right? I'm just,
Fireball syrup?
I give a little here and then, but like a hiccup, like a little feminine one, not like a
Yeah.
Oh no, I still look at you like.
Yeah, that's
Renesmee
disgusting.
Fireball.
By the way,
Um,
I just make clear, Severus does not drink alcohol ever.
Okay. As for fire moss, no, that is very much illegal in the Empire. There is tobacco, and there's things like that, but no, fire moss is very explicitly illegal. So,
Fire moss is like what, weed?
fire moss is not like weed. Fire moss is something it's a drug that you rub between your index finger and your thumb, and it burns, burning the skin underneath, but giving you a sort of tobacco-like high, but more powerful and long-lasting.
Fuck, that's so cool.
Well, you can get like really messed up on it too, right?
Well,
That's
not
what-
really.
that's
Artemis is the real fuck shit. Fire
I
moss
thought
can't really
what,
kill you.
there was the guy. That was the ship captain, right?
That guy was just strong.
really
He
messed
wasn't
up on
like
that.
overdosing or anything. Like you can't overdose on fire moss.
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
like weed.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
kind
I've
of,
already
yeah.
done
Actually,
weed.
kind of, yeah. Anyways, so yeah, you guys enjoy the feast. Do you guys talk at all, or is this like a jovial feast as you talk about your past, or is it just, food consumption time?
This wine is good.
Oh, did Hagal ever find anything in the ashes?
Oh yeah, he would return to you. No, everything was burned to a crisp. Like the best thing he could find was a particularly large piece of scrap, which made him believe that this was definitely 100% letterhead, which is why I told you that originally. But no,
And somebody burnt it.
Yep, somebody burned it all. It's like maybe his
Probably
guess
that
would be
guy.
like a whole stack of letters.
I'm betting
Wait,
it was the freaking cleric guy.
I think Lars would have taken his food and excused himself to go feed Gore.
Yeah, they got you ribs for Gore since you specifically requested it.
No.
Ribs of pigs.
I
And
want to talk to Lars. Mad.
damn, walked away.
He hates
This one is good.
Mm.
Yeah,
try the
I
ale.
can tell, but
The oatmeal too.
maybe not right now.
Any toppings in your oatmeal, Renesmee?
Mm-mm.
It's just plain oats with water, with milk.
Plain
Water.
oatmeal?
I like
Oh my
water.
God.
With water? Yeah, disgusting.
Jesus
Jesus
Christ.
Christ.
Sometimes sugar.
Military
I
ration.
think.
I wouldn't even
Yeah,
feed
I
that
think,
to my
I
horse.
think you would do well in the army. Renesmee. You
I
certainly-
smile, my cheeks full of oats.
You certainly have the diet down.
Oh
I
yeah.
know.
Diet of
Soldier, hamster. At this point, it's quite
water
similar.
and oats.
with Ravinium Red.
The same diet as Mickey.
I know. I
Pretty
go
much.
back and forth from like eating oats, taking sips of wine.
He li-
Best oats I've had in a long time.
The
Have you
literally
tried
have the
oats
diet
with
of my
wine?
horse.
True.
I've never had oats and wine together. I hardly ever
Basically, yeah.
I've hardly. I don't really drink wine.
The
Good, you shouldn't.
the Ravinium Red that
Maybe.
Renesmee has been drinking begins to stain her mouth like red from the coloration used. So like as she's talking, you know, it almost looks like she has almost a bloody mouth. Just 'cause the
I smile. My teeth are stained red.
Yeah.
It looks like I just
Oh,
bit
God.
into someone's arm.
Jesus Christ, that's
I
horrifying.
have to look away. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Well, it's a good evening. You guys entertain yourself.
Can I invite them to drink? Can I like, shove my glass towards Zed and be like, "Come on, try it."
I'll take the smallest sip. I'll like pretend to drink it. I won't-
Yeah.
While he's bringing it to his lips, can I do that thing where you like blunk the cup from the bottom to make
Yeah.
them take a big
That
sip?
is so
Yes,
rude.
certainly. Yeah, wine splashes across your face, Zednius, and Hetagal gets a little splatter on him, and he audibly hisses like from your shoulder.
I put my hands over my mouth and I just giggle. like,
Audibly meaning we all
Yeah,
heard.
Yeah, you all,
Drunkenly
everyone in the room
giggle.
hears Hetagal go.
Renesmee, what the hell?
Fuck was that?
I'm sorry. I think I better be excused. I pick up my bowl of oats and I
rolling off my-
go to my
wipe
room
my
as I
face.
still giggle.
Hetagal rolls
I
off. your
want to
shoulder
ready an
blades.
action in case she slips.
I don't think she's quite that drunk. She's just a little bit tipsy. She can exit the dining room, and as you guys are, it's getting to get real late now. You're finishing up your meal, getting ready to go off to sleep yourself, and you see a
Thank God.
figure in the doorway. The candelabra sort of gives dim light, and figure enters into the room, and you see Tullius. He looks alert, like always, and he says, "Well, any luck?" He looks towards, I guess, Lars is with Gore, so it's just Maximus, Zed, and Severus at the table.
Yeah. Oh, we figured it out.
You figured it out.
Air elemental.
Oh,
Ethan, is your mic really far away?
Yes, it is. That is a great point. Yes, it is.
well, an air elemental. I'm guessing that
Yes.
doesn't relate to the governor at all.
Not that we can
Nope.
find.
Nope.
That's to be expected.
Yep. It's
Well, I believe he does have one last lead for you. Hopefully, it can
So
find us.
Surely this one's more promising.
yes, surely.
Well, even if it isn't,
Early.
I've been doing some investigation in my own time. I have a good idea. But we'll save that for after we've entertained the senator. Least we can do for entertaining his hospitality.
How much longer are we going to be here?
Tullius sits down in a chair at the table and sort of begins to pick at some of the scraps and says, "A couple more days, maybe a bit more. The Consul Militum has expressed a desire for you to return."
Yes, that's what I'm about.
I have a few questions. This will be for all of you. During your time in the frontier, did the Consul Militum ever say anything that would make you question his loyalty to the Empire?
Did he say anything to us? No.
Absolutely not.
He nods. I see. You believe him to be an ambitious man, though, right?
Of course.
That's it's an understatement.
This is Tullius, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He nods.
Well, what he did was certainly against the laws of the Empire. I don't know, but
No, it's really not.
He glances down. What he did?
wait, sorry, I passed. Oh, no, I passed out. I like zoned out.
Yeah, you guys
We
are
still
talking about the
the
Consul
senator,
Militum.
right?
No, Consul Militum. Someone totally different.
Oh no, never mind.
Okay.
I don't have the face.
Yeah.
So, no, you did
yeah.
because I lore dumped you.
True, you did lord up. But yeah, the Tullius will nod and say, "Well, I suppose I do have some questions about what you've done for the con. Have you ever dealt with any internal affairs? Anything not Deadwood related?"
Oh shit. Let's see. Have we?
Well, we settled the dispute between
Sydney.
those two cities, right?
I don't think that's
That
quite
wasn't
what he
Deadwood
means.
related. Did he ever have us settle conflicts
Like
internally,
between
like
him
within
and
the?
within the military? Is that what you're asking?
Did you ever do anything personal for the Consul Militum?
Personal?
Yes.
I don't think so.
I don't believe so.
Did he ever talk about his uncle, Galenus?
Linus?
I don't believe so. I don't recognize that name.
Or do I?
During your time, do you think that you ever put a substantial blow into the Deadwood's advance? Anything decisive?
We killed a dryad matron. That seemed to have been somewhat decisive. That's
And
the
this
biggest
was
blow I think we've
decisive?
done.
Decisive? No. Influential, yeah. Yeah, significant, yes, but we're 5 people.
And you killed
I think
this
we have-
Dryad matron while under the direct orders of the Consul Militum?
Yeah.
No.
Well,
We were just to investigate the missing guy, Centurion. We just investigated that, and it led us to the matron, which we had to kill to rescue him.
oh yeah.
He didn't know of the matron, or he didn't tell us.
No, I guess not.
So you found no evidence of any substantial pushback against the Deadwoods in...
Well, no. He's doing all he can.
Sure. Alright. Well, I hope you enjoy the dinner. The Senator has been very gracious with us while we've stayed here. And while you're talking to him tomorrow morning, I'm sure you'll extend your gratitude for his kindness.
Yes, of course.
Cicero, just so we don't get the names confused, stands up from the chair. And he sort of walks over to Zed and leans down and says in Frumentari, Consul Militum will also be going down, alongside the governor.
Understood.
He leans away, and he looks at Severus and gives him just, a nod. And he exits the room, and you guys can finish eating, drinking through the alcohol provided, or not, for those of you that don't drink. And you guys can get some rest. And Lars...
Wait, the Consul Militum was the guy that
do you
was...
drink?
What? Are you asking if I drink? I don't.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no, none of us drink.
Oh, okay.
I'm too small. I'll
There you
get
go.
drunk too quick.
And Hecka, what was your question?
Lars probably does, but he's not there.
The Consul Militum was the guy that was planning the shit on, what was
Yes.
the outpost called?
Yeah, so the Consul
Or
Militum is the
something?
supreme commander of the Southern Legions. He
Yeah.
essentially manages that entire
Yogi
frontier.
told me about this. I was
Yeah.
just checking.
Yeah, same
double-checking
guy.
if I remembered right. Okay. So he definitely should be going, at least honestly. Depending on the point of view.
Lars, you're the last to get to
Depending on
sleep.
your point of view.
You spend the evening feeding Gore and petting him and giving him much love. He's recovered from his previous injuries. The sleek black coat is doing just fine. And you can finally go to bed. And that passes December 1st onto November 2nd. Today, Lars, your Brigandine will be done, so your sort of leather armor. And Zednius, as you wake up in the early morning, there is a letter that's been pushed underneath your door.
Is
would
it
you-
what?
I was going to ask you, would you like me to send this to you in DMs, or would you like me to just read it? Because it is addressed specifically to you.
You can just read it as
Okay.
long as
Well, what
you guys
language is
trust
it?
yourselves to not
It's-
metagame it.
It's written in common.
I can't.
Oh, yeah, I'll just DM it to you then.
Oh, okay.
There you go. So, you guys all wake up in the early morning. You make your way downstairs. There is a small breakfast there. You guys already had a colossal dinner, so there's a tiny little breakfast. And you can go out onto the back porch where you can find the old Senator Viria. He's sitting there alongside Cicero, despite it being literally like 8 in the morning. The senator has already begun to drink, and as he sees you all, he sort of swirls his glass of wine and says, "Our mutual friend has informed me that you found nothing."
Yes.
Nothing related to the governor, unfortunately.
Nothing that's proof yet. We found a few suspicious things, but nothing that we can prove.
No.
Well, luckily for you and me, I have one final possibility. The senator sort of leans back in his chair and looks towards you. Desperados seems a fitting name for them, though I don't believe they give themselves any names in public. Not aware of how much you know about our city, but in Ravinium, it is a nobleman's duty to carry a dueling sword to show their honor and fortitude, and any duelist that may come his way, he must meet swords with. This group of desperados are young poets, vagabonds, and idealists who refuse to accept this basic tenet of our culture. They preach about the days of the Republic with reverence, not recognizing it for the flawed institution, owned to collapse that it was. I think it is all but guaranteed that these young men are plotting an overthrow of our system. Their language makes it all too clear. And for them to feel confident, staking out such an extreme position in public, they must have someone powerful backing them. These men spend time at the coffee houses of our city, specifically Palantine-on-Main. It is there that they engage in treasonous thoughts and worship their Republican ideals. Further, you should be able to find proof. Consul, pro-consul, providing them with backing. The only explanation for why they're so out in the open, their flawed beliefs.
Is this like a common,
Well,
or like an idea that is relatively commonplace throughout the Empire? Like, do people talk about it at all?
Oh, venerating the Republic is like literally textbook treason. Because the Empire, so just a super brief history lesson, the current lineage of emperors, the Varusians, they overthrew the Republic, and the sort of imperial canon is that the Republic was a decadent, corrupt institution that harmed the people living under it and was prone to die, and that Aurelian Domitus Sol, the first emperor, he just sort of kicked in the door of this rotten structure and replaced it with a powerful empire.
So, is it both like legal treason and like religious blasphemy?
Well, it's not religious blasphemy anymore. It just hasn't been made religious blasphemy yet. It probably could argue to be it, but it's just not. As for legal treason, it's hard to say, right? Like, they're not... If generally, the people who venerate the Republic want to overthrow the Empire, but it's a Venn diagram. It's not... Technically, not everyone who likes republicanism wants to overthrow the current Empire. But it's like...
But like, you know.
Most people do, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this actually seems like we're getting somewhere now. All right, we go damp out a den of traitors.
Senator nods and says, "Well, you'll probably want to dress down. You all look like judges. If you're going to ingratiate yourselves with them, then you'll need to look like students. Those are the vagabonds and layabouts who spend time at Palantine-on-Main. No respectable man would find himself there."
Going undercover?
Well, I suppose you can just kick in the door and try to apprehend them, but there are many of them. They will run and hide. Rodents. It'd be better if you could ingratiate yourself among them, find where they meet, figure out their plans.
Oh. Okay, then.
well, we try our best.
Yeah, the senator continues to swirl his glass, and Cicero glances over and says, "If you're looking to fit in, Renee would probably be your best bet. She's in the right age range. Perhaps Ednius as well. The rest of you look a bit... well, I'm sure you
Old.
understand. Old and veteran."
I look around
Probably a wise
and
decision
chuckle.
on that front.
Actually, Lars could probably fit in there, though not as a student.
And how would I be able to fit in?
He called you stupid.
No, I didn't call him stupid. He looks like a street thug.
Of course, my apologies.
Very different.
I'll look at
Oh.
Lars and just raise my eyebrows.
You'll just say, I'll take that as a compliment, I guess.
It absolutely is. None of this is a commentary on your ability as judges. It's simply who will fit in at Palantine.
You're actually
For
shaking my head.
Severus?
He looks at Severus and smiles. Well, I love my dear boy Severus, but he looks like what he is. I don't think
Do
he's
you look
replaced
like your
that.
token, Severus?
I think we discussed that the token was considerably too red and goblinish.
Yeah, but
alright.
he is a very obvious half elf. He does look like
Okay.
he looks psychopathic. I mean,
He's scarred.
Hmm.
yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
alright.
Severus is just a very like off-putting person to look at.
And he's how much older than me?
I don't think he is.
If I'm like 23 or something?
I don't know.
Oh no, I am older considerably. I'm like my 30s. I
Ooh,
think.
Oh, okay.
yo.
Oh, another old guy. Thank God.
Can I check? I'm 34. Yeah.
Yeah, so Severus
man, you
super. He looks old and he looks like a veteran. Like he's the worst person to fit in.
When did he get in?
True.
Oh.
Oof.
Might
Oh,
cut out,
what the
but
hell?
you-
Wait,
Oh,
the person I look like the most is Severus. Good lord.
yeah, I know.
Lost Boogie.
So
I think most are pretty old anyway.
actually, that's true. Basically, yeah, Maximus, Lars, and Severus. The three of you guys are all kind of old and
With the old
grizzled.
guard.
Yeah, he's all's probably pretty old.
Yeah, something like that.
Mate,
Anyways, so you guys can head out into the living room. Renesmee, this is where you being from the city lends you a lot of benefit. We talked about coffee houses when you guys first arrived in the city, but you know all about Palantine. You went to the symposium, so you be familiar with it. It serves between 200 to 500 people at any time. It's huge. It's not a small cafe. It's colossal. It's almost like a warehouse, but with like partitions and stuff. And it's not really like a cafe in the way we think about it nowadays. It's almost like a hangout spot. Like you go there with the boys, you drink some coffee, you read some political papers, you talk about theory, and you play games with other tables. It's just a huge hangout spot for symposium students throughout the city. And Palantine in particular, when you went there, was known as having the most like firebrand, like zealot people. Like they were very ideologically driven. So it's a very selective crowd of symposium students.
Interesting.
Is it like both sides? Like
Yeah, certainly.
Republican
You'd have people
supporters
there that are
and-
like hardcore religious fundamentalists and insanely supportive of the emperor. And then you'd also have, Tyrantus Delenda-S people who are like death to tyrants and, republicanism is pog and things like that.
So the people that we are trying to go
Is that-
after right now
is that canon?
are right-leaning?
Yeah, they say Pog.
No,
Is that
republicanism
canon
is
that they say republicanism is pog?
No, they don't say that. No, republicanism is an idea that having a representative democracy is good. So it's just it's not like the modern Republican Party. It's just the idea that not having a dictatorship is good. So they believe in voting. They believe in like representative democracy. They believe in all that stuff. So it'd be very,
They do in
very
fact
left
not
wing.
believe that their opponents are blood-eating children eating pedophiles.
Yeah. So in this society, it'd be
Like baby
insanely,
killers and all that.
yeah, it'd be insanely left wing in
Got
this
it.
society because it is a
So
hereditary.
It's
that would be the reason why that is terrible for the emperor, etc. is because, well, emperor equals dictatorship,
Yeah.
and these people want a democracy.
Yeah, and there once was a democracy, so it's
Mhm.
even.
How did that go?
Well, it
Not well,
that's why
apparently.
there's an
It fell into
empire
a
right now.
monarchy.
Not there
So-
anymore. So there you go. It went that well.
Wait, is this the meme? Democracy has never been tried and hasn't failed. Should go back to empire.
Basically, Chad. But yeah,
Emperor, and so I love democracy.
Fuck those hippie Democrats.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty recent history. It's only like 100 years ago. But I think all of you guys, just even if you have like reservations against the emperor, to even get in the position of judge, you have to be at least like pro idea of empire. Just because anyone that's like known to be like a Republican supporter, idea of the republic, like the idea of a republic, they are almost shunned from like all political office. They're not allowed to gain any power because they directly.
Wait, what
look
would
at
be
it from
worse? What would be worse, being a Republican or being a demon worshiper?
Probably a demon worshiper.
Oh no.
But he had to think about it.
Yeah, I did actually have to think about it because one is like legal treason, the other one's like religious treason. They're both pretty bad.
Wait, you're a demon worshiper?
No. Anyways, so you guys head into the sitting room, and you can think about
wait a
more
minute.
strategy. So, how are you guys going to infiltrate this group of youths? Or are you going to
Hello,
infiltrate them? Or are you just
fellow
going to kick
kids.
down the door and be like, "Hey, bitch"?
Well, youths. And I'll look at the youths of the party. Oh, I'll look at Renesmee. I guess you didn't have much of a youth, did you?
I was a church. I was an altar boy. For
Yeah,
a long time.
Renesmee had to
No,
go to the
I-
bathroom real fast,
I-
so it's just
Oh.
Zennius.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'll look at
Just
Zednius.
standing there
I'll look
like
at Zednius.
blank-eyed peeing herself.
No.
On the floor.
No. Anyways, Zednius is there.
Well, is it like new? Is it a new semester? Are there new classes?
It's November, so no. It'd be in the middle of the
Wow.
year.
Fuck.
And
I was gonna enroll in gender studies. What the fuck? Happened?
Doesn't have to be a new semester. You can just be like, yeah, I've heard about the ideas being talked about here, and I wanted to join in on the conversation.
What'd you say?
what
Dylan?
kind of class are we Are we getting into?
It's not a class.
It's just the school.
No, it's the
No,
coffee
it's
house
like a-
where the students hang out.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
It's
talk
It's like the
about
number one hangout spot, okay?
and talk about either why the emperor is bad or why the emperor is based.
Yeah. We're basically going to like a... What's the equivalent in real life?
But the people we're trying
A
to
bar.
sneak into say the emperor is cringe.
Nah, it's more like a hippie Starbucks that's owned by a single person because they hate corporations.
The
Yeah,
place
kind of
where
like
the
that.
students talk about why
What do commies go
Republicanism is
nowadays?
good is owned by a
Fucking
single
raves or
person.
something?
Yeah, no, you're right. It's
We
a
go to
co-op-owned
locally
coffee
owned
house.
books or
Oh, locally
owned
owned.
coffee
Local
stores.
co-op coffee house. That
Yeah,
is.
Locally owned co-op.
Yeah, based. Yeah, so it's like
Yes.
that. You're infiltrating.
I'm back.
Back, Renee. Peach.
How are we
They use
infiltrating
their
them?
cover
Peach?
charge to fund the cover charge pays for a share in the company.
There it is. Yeah, so Peach, we're talking about the method of approaching this group, whether you just like kick down the door, say, "Hey bitches, we're judges, like come with us, we're gonna interrogate you." Or
No.
do you like, and if you're gonna infiltrate, how do you infiltrate?
Well, we should
Is that
probably,
obvious?
pretend to be one of them. No.
Well,
They don't know
Pretend
us.
to be interested. Well,
Three of
I
us
mean,
are
I grew up in
pretty
the
old.
city.
Renesmee, how big is the actual? Is the symposium the school? Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
How many students are in the actual symposium?
Well, Renesmee, back when you
Um,
went there was about 3,000 students.
About 3,000.
I don't think them not recognizing you is going to be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
the problem is
All right,
that,
then.
Lars, Maximus, me, we kind of look a bit older than the usual students.
Oh yeah, we wouldn't be going in.
It would be
They
me and
usually
Vanessa.
go
The
Yeah,
guy
we're
back
gonna
at the
try and
street said I
infiltrate.
could pass off as a
You
street
can
thug, but I
pretend
don't
you're
really
like on
know
a
how
date
that-
or something and just take the booth next to them or something.
can- Cooler, Lars.
You can be my boyfriend.
Ooh.
Oh, more importantly,
Yo, I
Alright.
got a plug.
Yeah, seriously, she's dating some like dock district worker, just like 35 fucking huge arms.
all right. I mean, you're gonna have to act like you don't like the emperor and all that.
Understood.
Acting.
For the greater good.
Yes, of course.
Are there like cigarettes and stuff that we could like be smoking or something?
They will not be doing cigarettes. They'll be doing fire moss and other shit.
I thought they
What
didn't.
does
I think you
fire
can-
moss do?
I thought we didn't have fire moss.
Fire moss is illegal, so you don't have it in the senator's home. But these are
I think you can just buy some coffee. I
true.
think that'll
Also
do.
that.
How much
Okay.
is coffee?
As for the effects of fire moss, Peach, it's literally just like tobacco. It gives you sort of
Oh.
a body and head effect.
Okay.
We could go in there and pretend to study and then try to talk to people. I've got a few books we
I
could
mean,
read.
from what I've heard, that is what goes on in there, talking. So I think going there to talk is an applicable reason.
Yeah. Exchanging
I mean-
ideas.
We could pretend to be talking about republicanism. See if it
Well, if you
piques
get-
people's interest. Maybe we get approached inviting us to a club.
I think they're going to be talking about it either way. They don't seem to be very.
But we
private
just
with this
go in
whole
and we
thing.
talk about how much we hate the emperor and we wish we were represented fairly. Like, we didn't vote for this emperor. Why does he get to say what we do?
Nodding my head very heavily.
think
Yes,
that'll
that's
do.
exactly what we will say.
I can come in with you if you want.
I'll look. So
You would have to
I can
disguise
suspiciously at it.
yourself.
Yes, I can disguise
Oh
myself.
yeah, I
as that.
forgot you could do that.
I'd only be in there for a limited time, and nobody would be able to touch me. Otherwise, they'd instantly know.
Yeah, it seems
Well,
like a bad idea overall.
Maybe not then.
So,
Oh,
the plan is, just to be clear, Lars is Renesmee's older 35-year-old Doc District boyfriend. Zednius
wait,
and
no.
Yes.
Wait, no,
Wait,
I
no,
think
that's a
that was a
terrible
meme.
idea. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
I thought Zednius was going to be her boyfriend. I thought that's
Yes.
what we were doing.
Oh,
I thought that was
okay.
the idea.
Okay.
Wait, why? Zednius would look like he belonged anyways.
True. Zednius is a...
Yes, but Lars doesn't need to be going in there.
True. Zednius, what frat do you go to?
I suppose so.
Lars said it earlier. I don't know if you guys heard it, but he said that the guy at the estate said he looked like the street that they would fit in. So I don't know how that has to go in here.
Oh, true, he did. Maybe does go in as the friendly drug dealer.
He doesn't look very friendly though.
And he probably doesn't
That
have
was-
any actual drugs on him.
Thank
If
you,
someone does
Maximus.
want to
Sure,
buy
the
them.
echo.
That
actually
was-
was
it's
friendly.
called sarcasm.
He's German. He only speaks sarcasm.
Sorry, yeah, it's hard
I'm
with
pretty
the
sure it's literally my characters like
I
saying
haven't
like
got it down
sarcastic.
quite yet.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's a solid plan to get 3 of you in. Do you think you need more than that, or is that enough?
Wait, so
Um,
I am pretending that Lars is my older Doc District boyfriend.
Who sells drugs?
No, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. What you guys
He doesn't have any drugs.
I don't know
There's-
the point of this.
Do you have
I'm honest, I
extensive
asked you guys.
knowledge of drugs?
I don't think he ever really got any drugs. He was just a bar hopper.
So you're gonna shake your head no there.
Yeah.
Well then, it seems like the most logical thing is that I pretend like I'm into older men from,
Why?
rougher up
Wait,
backgrounds.
why?
Renesmee, why does he have to go in there?
So Lars,
There's
how does it
more
feel to
people.
have to pretend you're
Why?
pedophile?
Oh my god.
Why do we need more people?
So we're searching for evidence of what? Why are we infiltrating in the first place?
Oh my god.
I'm losing it.
We're trying to find the club of
I'm just
Republicans.
rubbing my left wrist
You know what?
while
At this point,
looking
maybe it
at
should
the
just be
man in the
Renesmee
eye.
and no one else. Honestly, literally,
Oh my God.
infiltrating.
I am going to have a stroke. Good lord.
Alright,
I was just trying to
Zednius. I
bring us
grabbed
back.
Zednius' hand. Let's go. I'll explain on the way there.
There we
Can you
go.
get
Sounds
Hagal
good.
to communicate back and forth if we need him to?
Sure. It depends on
Can
how
we
far
go
away
there?
they are.
Where will you be staying? All of you.
Got some
Only
errands to
100
run.
feet.
I want to look up. How tall is the roof
Of the room you're in right now?
of the building?
You're in right now? The senator's house?
Yeah, we're not
No.
at that place.
Oh, I thought we were already at the place.
No, you guys
Oh,
have not even left
No,
the,
no, yeah.
the fucking dining room of the
Oh,
senator's house.
I misunderstood.
We're trying to figure
I-
out what we were actually doing before we left.
Yeah, like, is the building itself tall?
You have not seen it.
I'll ask Renesmee because she has.
That's fair. Palantine. Yeah, it's about 20 feet high. Seal.
Yeah, about 20 feet.
I just want
Are
to
there
go
any
get a
adjacent
coffee
buildings
and
that are,
bitch
like, tall?
about the Emperor.
All right, so Renesmee and Zednius are walking off hand in hand,
Wait.
talking about how they hate the
Hold
emperor.
on.
Before we walk offhand, though, we should actually probably change, right?
Yeah, you.
Unless I missed that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
you
want to be
probably
dressed up like a fancy boy.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Okay, you guys can head to your rooms, get changed. What are you dressing in to be a student? Are you dressing in common clothes? Or are you just dressing in like local sort of semi-casual fashion?
Well, I lived here for a long time, so I
Yeah.
know what the kind of like hipster
Yeah,
kind
I
of
wanna
people are
look
wearing,
hip.
right?
Okay.
I don't want to look poor.
Yeah, you guys are gonna have to buy
Yeah.
new clothes for that.
I want to look for.
You guys don't own stuff to.
I
make
want
you
to look
hip, apparently.
thrifty.
Yeah, if both of you guys are willing to spend a gold, you can look.
I want to
thrifty
be the
without
equivalent
thrifting.
of Reddit streetwear.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a gold then. Yeah, you guys can go to the merchant bazaar. There it is. You guys can go to the
Fine.
bazaar of Vivinium and drop a gold, and you can get. I don't know what you want to call this, but student outfit sounds weird because it's not like a uniform, but it's like thrifty clothes. I don't know. It's not fine clothes, but it's like one step beneath.
Zoomer clothes.
Zoomer clothes.
not the school girl
Fortnite
outfit.
Yeah, it's
t-shirts.
not that.
I just put fashionable clothes.
There you go.
Is that
That's actually
fine?
perfect. Yeah, fashionable. Because it's not fine clothes, but it's not common. It's fashionable. That's good.
And it weighs
Yeah.
what?
Like
Anyways,
a
what are
pound.
those?
Cheetos.
True.
So, while Renesmee and Zednius are heading off to the bazaar to get some clothes, the three of you, Severus, Maximus, and Lars, are resident old men. Are you guys going to go investigate Palantine and get set up, or like what are you doing?
Well, I have some errands to run. So, if you two want to do that, that's fine and dandy.
If I hand you my
Sure.
breastplate, could you order me?
You're already gone.
Uh,
You're getting clothes.
Hell.
Hell. Lars,
What
you also
weapons
have
do
a-
the other two use?
I use a
Like
dagger.
this.
I'll use a bow.
No,
Well,
not you,
not my
Lars. I know what you use.
Well, I mean,
No, not
technically,
you two.
it's,
I know
it's
what
brass.
you two use. I'm
Brass
looking at. What, I mean to know what those two use.
Me?
Bows?
I mean, I use
Sure.
Eldritch Blast, but I have a dagger. But I'd rather get a breastplate.
Okay.
No,
there's not enough for that. That's half
Yes, there
the metal
is.
we have. That's
Keep
half the
open.
metal we have.
Yeah, I use a bow, so I don't think you can do much for me. I use
A
a
dagger
dagger,
would
but
be
very
great.
rarely.
Wrong. We absolutely can.
And
And,
left it
okay,
with
so
the
it sounds like
arrows.
2 daggers. Cool. That's too easy.
All right, so Maximus heads off on his way to go to
Make me
errands.
brass knuckles. Make me brass knuckles. I can get plus one, plus
Lars.
one,
You
plus
have
one.
magical brass knuckles already.
No, I have magical tattoos.
So,
Wait,
Lars,
really?
you do have.
Wait, do those add up?
They do
Yeah.
add up. Yeah, of course. Tattoos are different than brass knuckle.
Oh, I thought maybe they counted as. Oh no.
Yeah, I'm not an expert in that, so I'm gonna need Lars to come with me.
Yeah, that's fine. I was gonna say Lars has something to pick up, anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, Lars. Let's go.
So Severus.
Severus, would you like to keep an eye on them? You know, just in case anything goes funky.
Wouldn't a breastplate only weigh 10 pounds?
Yogi.
Oh,
was
it's absolutely true. I forgot that it's mithril.
We've got 65.
He can cover it once he
I
gets to
kind
the
of-
shop.
Yeah. We'll go over that.
So, as you're saying, Ethan.
Oh yes, Severus, do you want to keep an eye on them?
Sure. I'll go ahead.
So,
Okay.
the party begins to split up. Renesmee and Zednius head off to go get clothes. Maximus and Lars head off to go pick stuff up. And Severus, you begin to make your way to the Palantine, and then you feel a weight on your shoulder, on your right shoulder, and then it moves, migrating to the top of your head. You just
I'll
ignore it.
just accept it. Yeah,
You
I know
accept
its
it.
head.
Continue to walk forward, and as you're walking, you hear pathetic.
I don't know what
Just shut up, will you?
He hates you. He tried to kill him last time.
Well,
But he
that's
called him
very
pathetic. Didn't he start being an asshole first?
Yes.
As
I
you're
don't know
walking
how it
down, you're
happened.
walking
I
down the
wasn't
street,
there.
Severus, and you're pretty close to the Palantine now. It's maybe another block, and you feel the tips of one of your ears, which is pointed, gets tugged on, and you hear weak.
Can I go into like a side alley?
Yeah.
Time to beat Hedagal.
Yeah, you step it off the main road, and you instantly feel the weight lift off your head.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work out too well.
You look around.
I'll just whisper in Frumentari, assuming Hedagal can understand it, because he's connected to Zednis. I'll just say, dumbass. This is a dumbass. Just
Yeah, you
move on.
you hear in a different language in Symbolan, because you speak that. You hear. No. You
Know you.
are weak.
Damn. Oh.
I actually gotta know you. Holy shit.
Yeah, I thought he was just gonna hit you with the no you.
Your mind
Oh.
is pathetic.
Damn, you be talking big sentences now. He's
She
real
wants to
mad.
impress me real bad.
Wow, yeah, that
I-
is kind of
I think
impressive.
I think Hedagal's in love with me, and he's trying to like make me.
He's negging you.
It's the first step. Yes, it's the
Yeah.
first step.
It's an egging.
All right, you feel Hegal's weight. You feel a weight land back on your head, and it goes silent. So do you just continue your way to Palantine?
Yeah, sure.
All right. You exit this alleyway back out onto the street. Are you going for the roof of Palantine? Or are you trying to find like a gutter pipe or something you can climb to get on top?
yeah, I wanna find a roof. I wanna find a roof that's either the Palantine itself, or if there's like a roof that's very close to it.
Okay.
Assuming it's not like Omega big, which I think it is. So, yeah, probably just the Palantine itself.
Okay. Yeah, as you
Assuming
approach, you
I
are
want to like
shocked
walk the
by-
perimeter first and check for guards.
Yeah, well, there's no guards, certainly. But it's just a coffee house. But you are shocked by how insanely big this building is. I mean, it has like 500 customers at any given time. So it is huge. There are students coming in and out constantly, like groups of 4, 5, 6, 7. Looking inside, you can see maybe probably a couple dozen of these partitioned areas where people are going about their business, drinking and talking. And just looking through one of these windows, you instantly see the group pointed out to you by the senator, because none of them have swords at their waist. They stand out like sore thumbs. Every other young man in that entire building has a sword at their hip, from the shittiest ones all the way to the most incredibly ornate and fancy ones. But that one of the sort of partitioned off areas have no swords.
Okay, Harkon.
Yep.
What color is Mithril in your world? Now I'm curious.
Why does it matter?
Because people, yeah, we're discussing it.
Okay,
in
it doesn't
chat,
matter what
like-
we're doing right now, though, so.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. We'll get to it later. We're doing a thing.
Yeah, sure.
So, you see those guys, and your goal is to get on the roof of the Palantine?
Yeah.
Alright, so how are you going to get on there? Are you looking for a quiet spot to climb up the roof? Are you going to another building, getting to roof access, and then popping over?
Whatever seems like I have the least chance of getting caught. Like wherever
Okay.
I have the least eyes on me, I guess.
Yeah, roll me a perception check.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
it's hard to say. There's people going to and fro. This is one of the big... It's on Main Street. That's why it's Palantine-on-Main. So it's one of the most busy thoroughfares in the entire city. No matter where you go, probably at least one person is going to see you. So you could just say fuck it and get there quickly, which would be the drain pipe at the back of the building. Or you could go to a nearby building and climb up, and then one of the residents would probably see you like climbing their stairwell and go into the room. So no matter what you do, at least one person is going to see you. The question is, which would be less suspicious?
Okay, here's the real question. Okay. Is there like official roof access?
To the Palantine?
Yeah, like is there like a half roof or like a sunroof people sit on?
Yeah, you don't see anything quite like that. It seems almost like a warehouse converted into a coffee house. There is no like veranda or balcony or anything.
Alright. Yeah, in that case I'm just gonna... I think I'd rather get seen by one of the students than one of the actual like residential neighbors.
Okay, so you're just climbing a drain pipe to the roof.
Yeah.
All right, roll me a acrobatics check. You begin to throw yourself up this drain pipe, one hand in front of the other, a rapid ascension. And once you're about halfway up, you hear someone sort of say, "Oh, look at that!" And it's a guy who looks very drunk. There's no one else really around him. He's sort of like leaning against the wall. He says, "I remember doing that in my first year." And he just vomits all over the ground of the alleyway. And you can finish climbing the rest of the way to the roof of the Palantine. It's taller than most of the surrounding buildings, or by a little bit. It's almost equal with most of them. So you have a pretty commanding position, but also literally anyone like looking out their window is probably going to see you. So you just go and like belly to the tile and just waiting.
Is there like... Okay, I was about to say something incredibly stupid. I was gonna say, is there like any like fucking window like vent units, and then I realized this is
There is a
century.
chimney, but yeah, there is a chimney.
Oh, okay. And then I wanna like sit near the chimney then.
Okay, yeah, you use the chimney as cover. You
Um,
sort of lean up against it. You feel the weight on your head.
Then cover in my cloak.
Yeah, you quickly blend in. I mean, it's like a chameleon cloak, so you almost perfectly blend in. Only your eyes aren't like fully covered up by the cloak. And you feel the weight that was on your head sort of approach, like it rolls down from your head to your shoulder, then onto your chest, and then you can see, like, feel something almost slimy, like pushing at your hand, and it says, "Cloak in."
Nah, fuck you.
You don't let him into your cloak.
No, he's invisible.
Weight rolls back up to your head angrily. Pseudopod slaps you in the ear.
I'll just tell him.
Slap.
Wait, is the chimney like? I'm assuming this place is serving a shit ton of people. So
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
assuming the
very
chimney's,
robust
like,
one. There's probably
warm.
2 or 3 of them, and it's very warm.
And yeah, yes. Also, I'll just tell him. I think he can get down the chimney. Take a look.
Pathetic.
Says Mr. Oh no, I want to cuddle in your cloak. I'm so lonely.
The weight leaves your head. So, Renesmee and Zednius, elsewhere in the city, as Severus is arguing with an invisible blob, you guys are going shopping. So you're going to just a thread store, buying some shit, and then just making your way to Palatine?
Yeah, I mean, we'll change into it.
Yeah.
I don't want to, like... Are there, like, second-hand shops?
There are. So the reason I said a gold is because technically if you want to, you could go actually thrifting, but that's going to take ages. Like, that's going to take hours if you really want to put together, like, suitably looking outfits. So the reason I subtracted gold is just because it's way cheaper to just go to, like, a merchant shop, have them sell you some stuff, and then do some strategic, like, weathering and making them look worn. Because if you actually try to go find, like, real second-hand stores, it's going to take.
Yeah, the only thing that I really care about is making it look like we didn't just, I don't know, go and buy clothing off the rack to go in.
Yeah, you can easily make it look worn. I mean, these city streets are filthy, so it's very easy to do that.
Okay, cool.
Alright, so you guys are striding hand in hand towards Main Street. And then we have the dynamic duo, Lars and Maximus. The two that are very similar, yet desperately hate
What do you mean?
each other.
That's not a duo.
No,
Best friends.
That is a duo.
That's
Maximus
4
and Lars.
people.
No, what? Maximus
Yeah,
and
and
Lars?
Gore and Mickey.
Oh, Gore is not a person. Chill.
There it is.
Alright,
Dynamic
so
quad.
Maximus and Lars, the two of you guys head through the city streets, and I'm assuming, you're headed back to that same dwarf who made you the plate armor.
Yeah.
Alright.
And
You
I'll
make your
still
way.
get my armor after.
Oh yeah, actually,
no,
you can...
sorry. We're going to that dwarf that tried to sell me the shield.
Okay, that's the one with... Is that the one you sold the raw materials to? Or is that the armor?
No, this is one I just ran into while looking for, like, any mithril equipment
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure this was an
to
armor.
buy
Yeah.
after I had sold everything.
Yeah, Lars, you make a bit of a detour for like literally 30 seconds. Go there, pick up your studded leather armor so you can have
Oh
that
yeah,
to
I'll
your
just do that with him.
And then you guys can turn the corner and head over to this armorer's shop. It's Brotor's, and you guys can head inside. The older dwarf is currently sort of sitting at his counter, no real business. When you guys come in, he sort of perks up his head and says, welcome back, Judge.
Hello there. Acquired something recently. Kind of curious about it.
Alright,
Thought you might know more.
of course. Walks over to you.
And I'll go and I'll snag the like 56 pounds of mithril chain.
Yeah, it's a hardy
Off of
thing to lift
Mickey.
up, but you can sort of strain and with Lars' help bring this in. And you guys place it on the wooden flooring before the dwarf. And he looks sort of wide-eyed, but then he goes back to the counter, grabs a little magnifying glass, and grabs the chain and pulls it up onto this counter. He begins to inspect it. He's gonna spend a long time doing this. So how long are you guys willing to just like stay quiet and let him do his work?
Yeah.
Like until he's done, basically?
Yeah.
So you
I
guys
have
sit there.
patience.
You guys just sort of walk around, look at the shields in the shop, evidence of his work. He has some axes on him. No knuckle dusters, but he does have some, like, smaller handheld items like daggers and stuff. But after about 45 minutes of dead silence in the shop, he sort of puts away his magnifying glass and walks over to you and says, Where, in Durin's name, did you find that?
Rich guy had it out in the countryside. Used it to trap an elemental.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. Looks like a goddamn hurricane ripped that thing apart. I don't know how this rich man you're talking about got a hold of this, but this thing here is a piece of history. Hell, I'd take it off your hands if I had the funds on me. If you give me a couple of days, I could pull together with a couple of the other smiths around here. I mean, having something like this on the mantelpiece, that's something that you tell your great-grandkids about.
Well, We were hoping to make weapons out of it, but would we be
no.
compensated enough for that?
That'd be a
an
crime.
Issue?
That'd be a crime against not only dwarfdom, but the history of all things in Valoros.
If you're willing to get us its equal value of mithril to make our weapons, then
No, would you
not the same what we're
compensate
doing it
us?
for.
Depends on what you're asking for.
Oh, well, I think he wants brass knuckles. I could use a lance, a couple daggers,
How many
maybe
daggers?
maybe a breastplate.
You'd have to let me down. I'd have to talk to the smiths around here. I can't do that on my own. It'd be too big of a loss, but I can speak with the smithing guild. You may have some extra funds we can allocate towards this. You know what this is, right?
Yeah. No.
This is a gate chain. Must be from some dwarven hold. My guess is from Western Valoros, but something like this would have been used to hold one of those great and massive gates closed during even the most powerful of sieges. I mean, this thing, it's a type of magic us dwarves have been able to do since the golden, several thousand years ago. I mean, it's something else. And it even has a maker's mark. It has 16 separate runesmiths who put their heart and soul into making something this powerful. It's sort of sad to hear it was debased for something as petty as an elemental.
Is it pure mithril?
Aye. Well, it's actually not mithril. It looks a lot like it. It's a different alloy. Has a bit of an additional red metal in it. I'm not sure if you ever heard of red metal. Different. We call it something different in Dwarvish, but point is, it's a very strong piece of metal. Very robust, but metal itself isn't the real value. It's the runic carvings on top of it. True runesmith could re-empower those runes, and you'd have yourself perhaps the most... a very powerful chain. One practically unbreakable. I'm surprised it was holding a standard elemental.
We'll get more worth out of it selling it to you than we would making weapons out of it.
Well, first you'd have to find a smith who can actually work with mithril. Let me tell you, I don't think any smith in this city would be willing to melt that down. Well, at least any smith worth their salt that can actually make you something good.
Alright. Yeah. I'll look at Lars. Do you have any idea how much we would get for it?
No, but
No, sorry. I was just looking at him and then addressing that back to the dwarf.
Yeah, he sort of shrugs and says, we have a meeting of the smithing guild tomorrow. I'll bring it up with them, see how much they're willing to offer. Personally, I could put at least 150 gold down. I'll be honest, though, it's probably going to be a monetary value rather than any weapons. Most of us have busy work orders as it is.
Well, for the items that we requested, how much would that cost if we make out of mithril?
It's not a cost problem. If it were just a cost problem, I'd make it for you myself. Most of us have orders we're working on. There are some smiths that are 6 months out booked.
Oh, I more just meant if the compensation we're going to get for this thing is the same that we would have got for...
Well, here in
making weapons out of it.
Ravenium, you could probably get a dagger mithril for 40 gold.
How much should I get my longsword for?
I think you got that one cheap.
I got that one very cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, significantly less. I got this for less than that.
Looks at it, specs it, and says, Well, it all depends on the person you go to. I've heard that over in Ravenium, because they don't do much imports from Western Valoros, they don't have any of, in Mythos, they don't have much of the mithril surplus that we do here in Ravenium. And even here, some people have contracts for importing mithril, others don't. It's really a messy thing with the prices collapsing.
We get a lot in Ravenium?
Well, in Mythos, you'd get a lot more for it, yes.
Yeah, sorry, in Mythos, yeah.
But I don't know if anyone there would recognize the historical significance of it. I mean, as far as I know, Ravenium's the biggest community of dwarves outside of Parla.
Alright. Well...
You're sticking around the city for a couple of days, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be here for at least 2 more days, probably.
He nods and says, Well then, we should come back in about 3 days. I should have everything worked out by then.
Would it help if we were at the Smith's meeting?
Not really.
With the chain?
I know what the object is. I'm sure they'll trust me.
All right, and you have no idea, even close to what we might get for it.
Again, it's even hard to put a value on something like this. If it were just mithril, I could just say, oh, well, you know, mithril's selling for this much a pound on the average market, and, you know, that'd be that simple. I mean, the runes in this thing they're impossible to create. No one nowadays can do it. Hell, that's why it took me so long. I could barely read the things. Haven't read runic since I was a boy. And without a runesmith, it doesn't even have any real utility, so it's just a historical artifact. It's like asking how much a painting by Diogenes is worth.
All right, then.
Nods.
Just the mithril. What's that worth?
Just the mithril, well, average prices sort of vacillate, but if we're saying... That's some math. 650?
All right.
You know, it's... Well, I hope that we can get a satisfactory price worked out for this object to be... Well, it'd be a tragedy for all people to have that melted down.
Wait a second, did I catch that right earlier when you said 150 he would offer for it?
Him
personally,
alone,
yeah.
he would be able to put up 150.
Oh, okay.
And then other people would put up more amounts.
Okay. I was like, wait, why would it be
Yes,
worth
that's
less
why I
as a
asked, because
historical
if I
object?
can just get 650 for selling it for the mithril, right, and just take it to a human who has no fucking clue what it is, and sell it to that guy.
Jesus Christ. You're a monster. Gonna melt down a historical relic of the dwarves.
I don't care about dwarven history.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm
All
not gonna let him know that,
So,
though.
yeah, sure. So you guys finish this meeting, head back out to horses. Are you guys headed to Palantine, or are you just headed back to the senatorial's estate and waiting for Zednius and Renesmee to return?
Alex, I have one minor question
Sure,
about
what's up, man?
how weapons work here. So the spear is just the spearhead, right? For the mithril spear?
Yep.
Just the spearhead's made
Now, I
up.
hear what you're about to ask. It's like, oh, can we actually subtract less weight from the thing so we're not spending 2 pounds of mithril to make a mithril spear? The answer is no.
What?
Oh, is that not what your question was?
Absolutely not. I am very confused by what you just said.
Okay, well, what I was saying is that, like, so a dagger weighs 2 pounds, right?
Okay.
Half of that would be 1 pound. So you do have to use that
Yep.
amount of mithril to make it. That's what I meant.
Wait, why?
You gotta use 1 pound to make...
A dagger.
Wait. Can I
That makes
ask?
complete sense.
Is this? Wait, no, it doesn't at all.
Why?
Can I ask you why?
Yeah, so because if you want, so mithril items bring you +1 first of all, and then they also give you durability. So this item basically never breaks short of magic. And if you want the whole thing to be durable, then it's as strong as its weakest link. So you have to make.
You see, that makes a lot more sense. Okay.
There you go.
Because I felt like when you literally just have a mithril spear tip, why would you have
Yeah,
to
because then the wooden
waste
shaft would
the
break.
whole
and then,
2 pounds?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep. All right. What was your question then, Ethan?
And this applies to like a lance. I can't just make the lance head out of mithril and get
No.
the benefits.
No.
So the mithril spear I have has the effects of, is +1 and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Just the spearhead is mithril.
No, the whole thing's.
Oh. Okay, that's where the misunderstanding was. Okay. Yep. I'm tracking now. So if I wanted a mithril lance, the whole thing would have to be made out of
Yeah,
mithril.
so you just take
and so
the
on and
weight
so
of.
forth.
Yeah, you take the weight, divide by half. That's how much mithril you need to make.
The armor
Wait a
that
minute.
I picked up. What are the stats on it again? I think it's just +1 from what I have. But I
Studded
wanted to
leather
make sure.
armor. It gives you. I think it gives you AC 13 plus Dex mod.
Oh, sweet! I get +2 then. 'Cause it's not Dex
sorry,
mod,
AC
it's-
12 plus Dex mod.
Oh, +1.
Yeah,
I have
that's
to-
regular studded leather. Yeah. I think, mithril studded leather would be.
Mithril
if
studded
that's
leather
even a
doesn't
thing.
exist.
6 pound.
Yeah, because it's not metal, yeah.
Spear's
Oh, when I
damage.
picked it,
Okay.
when I picked up
Your
the
weight is
thing,
just
could I
wrong.
have traded in my leather armor for like a couple copper pieces?
It'd be more than a couple copper. It'd be 8th of the value. I don't actually remember how much copper.
For leather
Whoa.
armor?
Yeah, sorry, no, you were right. It's like 50 pence. So 2 silver and 10 copper.
Okay, I'll add that.
So where are you two lads headed? You headed to the Palantine-on-Main, or you headed back to the estate?
Yeah. Head back to Palantine.
Okay.
Just help them out if anything
Settle
goes
other
wrong.
settle other weights in pounds.
Other ways.
Can I ask if it's
13
possible
pounds.
to make a bow with mithril?
It is, but it gives you no benefit, like you said. Just makes it
Yeah.
very durable, so it can't break.
We did this in
Makes
our
sense.
other campaign. You can make arrows out of it, and they'd be +1 arrows.
Yes, you can make it right.
Yes, but I'm really... I'm one of those guys who never drinks his healing potions in video games, okay? I cannot.
Well,
use
if you
mithril
only have
arrows.
mithril arrows, then you'd have no other choice. We
No,
had
but
someone in another campaign.
having
who had
such a
that thing.
valuable consumable, it's mentally too much for me.
It's
Someone
too
counts
taxing.
a lot.
To know that I'm literally shooting gold at the enemies.
All right, well, now we do the 90s sort of like swirly cut, and then we, see a street, and it's Zednius and Renesmee pumping down that street,
Oh, yeah.
power couple. And
Mm.
the pair of you guys walk down Main Street. Other college student, this is the wrong song. Other college students, or symposium students, looking, in your direction. Some of them being like, do we recognize that person? Then just maybe they probably don't. And you guys get inside of the Palantine-on-Main. So, Renesmee, you're familiar with all the customs and what's expected of you, so you just go find a table. There's a bard playing off in a corner. There's dozens of these little partitioned rooms. The first thing that you're supposed to do is you go to the counter, and the two of you guys are going to grab a coffee. Coffee here they have not, attached cocoa beans to milk yet. They don't really do that. You're just going to have your black coffee, and you're going to enjoy it. You guys head to the counter. You each hand over some copper pieces, and you guys get some steaming hot coca juice, and sorry, not coca juice, coffee juice. And you guys can go find a place to sit. So you did see the people that you're here for. It was just super obvious. You guys were walking to the counter to go buy your coffee. You look to your right, you can see a whole booth. It's not really a booth, just a partition filled with people who did not have swords on their waist. Instantly, that's who you're here for. So, are you going straight there, or are you going to go sit with other groups, chat about stuff, or what's your strategy here?
Can we just sit kind of close by?
Yeah, I want to sit somewhat close so they could overhear our conversation.
Yeah, not literally next to them, but are there any tables near them?
When I say partitions, it's there's these curtains drawn, making individual rooms, and all these people are piled into their own room. So, if you were nearby, they probably wouldn't hear you over the din of their own conversations.
Well, I look around and I try and find, with my eyes, someone very particularly chatty.
Yeah, I mean, so you can look around. There's tons of, wacky people. There's, people burning fire moss while reading books. There's other people that are just sipping on coffee, looking out the window, 1,000-yard stare. There's people that are cramming for assignments, writing out by pen, and you can see a giant stack of 15 other pages next to them. In terms of chatting people, there's one guy who has his foot sort of up on top of a chair, and he's talking to these two women, and he clearly thinks that it's going great because he looks very confident and stuff, and they look miserable.
I look at Zednius. Where do you want to? We could grab
That guy
some
looks
fire
good.
moss. Yeah.
You're really into that.
Well, no, I mean I've never tried it, but when in Rome.
Holy, yeah, there it is. When in Ravinium, do as the Ravinium.
I mean, we can ask if they have a light. I'm assuming that you need
Well, you don't light
matches
it.
or something.
You just squeeze it between your fingers.
Yeah, highly combustible.
Oh. How do you know that, Zednius?
From our other campaign.
Ah. Well, yes, I suppose we could go and save those girls.
Save them.
I narrow my eyes. They look uncomfortable. Can you not
okay.
tell? I roll my eyes.
I wasn't really paying
Alright.
attention.
Feels dank, man.
Yeah.
Oof.
Well,
Mayonnaise.
I walk towards the girls,
Yeah,
and
you can start
I go-
overhearing the guy's conversation. He says, and that's what I mean, right? They talk about the emperor's divinely chosen, but that doesn't really make sense because he had to kill the church. So if you really think about it, he's basically a tyrant, dude. And the two women are just looking at him
Zednius and I walk over to him, and I want to make myself seem just a tiny bit more ditzy than normal.
Yeah. So do you just sit down on one of the chairs, in this little partition, listening to this guy talk?
Yeah, I want to sit down on one of the chairs and then imagine I'm resting my elbows on the table, and I put my chin and hold it in my hands, and I look up at him with big eyes, and I start nodding along.
Yeah, and he keeps going. He's And that's what I would say if I were a loser. But actually, the Emperor's really awesome. Like, if you really think about it, I mean, the Almighty basically came down and gave him the right to rule all on his own. I mean, that's pretty sick, right? And he looks towards the two women, and one of them says, yeah, I mean, it's certainly interesting. And he says, and like, that's what I mean. Like, the mixing of religion and state, that's so sick. It makes so much stability, dude. And like, everything's so secure now. We don't have to worry about political conflict, you know, because God told us that everything's right, you know?
I am so sorry to interrupt, but
This kid is based.
but girls, I've been meaning to catch up with you guys for so long.
The two girls look over you, and one of them sort of smiles and says, yeah, you know, it's been so long since we've seen you. It'd be so good to catch up. She looks
No,
at you and says,
it's just I've been so busy with my studies and such, and why don't you come over here? I'll introduce you to my friend Zednius, and I have so much to tell you, and especially about, well,
she
the
nods
other
and
day
says,
when I was...
real name.
sorry, Domitian, we'll have to talk later.
She straight up used my
And
noble name.
the woman sort of stands up and sort of exits from the table, and the guy says, wait, but I didn't even get to the part about the light wars and the purging of the political elite, dude. It's fucking crazy. And she's like, no, thank you,
sorry,
Domitian.
Dan.
Yeah, we'll talk later. And she sort of follows you, and once you guys are out of, like, maybe a couple feet away, she says, oh, thank God. I thought
Do
he
you
would never
guys want
stop
a
talking.
coffee? I know, I noticed him from across the bar, and I just saw the pain on your faces. I've been there.
He just kept talking about political theory.
It's the worst, truly. Coffee? Would you like some?
Yes, and she sort of, you know, looks at Zednius as you guys are approaching and says, oh, well, he's cute.
I've got
I'll
my
like go up to her and
face
kind of like
deep
in
my
her
book.
in her ear, and I'll be like, and single too.
She says, oh, well. And you guys approach, and you can spend a couple of coppers to get them some coffees, and they'll sit down in one of the more quiet partitions that has books on the table. And I don't know how long you want to talk to these girls, but they'll be more than happy to chat with you. You know, you can, I don't know how forthcoming you'll be with them, but if you tell them you went to the symposium, they'll talk all about their classes. They'll be more than happy for some conversation.
I just kind of want to make, like, I don't know, ask them about their classes and stuff. If I pretended to be a current student.
We could
Would that
say
be
we're
obvious?
studying Elvish.
Yeah, well,
the guy's
I'll
name.
tell them that I'm interested in, like, enrolling and trying to study Elvish.
Yeah,
We've
both
got
of
his
them.
name somewhere.
Yeah, both
Professor
of them are
Galahad.
just. They're going to get a degree in writing, like scribing, basically. So they're just, that's literally all they do. They just practice handwriting and shit, and they read literature classics and stuff, and that's just their full-time job, basically. And they can talk to you about that. They can talk to you about the symposium, about, you know, fears from the dead, what people have heard about fighting to the east, and neither of them really wants a Galantine war to happen again, so that's a big concern.
Yeah, you know, it's been a while since I've been in the city. I'm, you know, trying to brush up on some of my ancient historical languages, but I'm just having such trouble finding interesting people to chat with. It seems like every single man I interact with here is one of those boring oafs
One
that
of the
just rambles on and on.
Yeah, one of the girls sort of chuckled and says, well, I think you may have come to the wrong place. I mean, the only people here in Palantine are depressed poets and political activists. We're mostly here for the depressed poets.
Where can I
There it
find
is.
them?
The depressed poets? And she sort of looks
Oh,
around and says,
absolutely.
well, they tend to have their faces buried in this book, and they have these sort of, you know, expressions like they're really deeply thinking about something. It's
Not exactly how that news looks.
kind of, yeah, just a little bit. She says, they're also pretty obvious because they're not in big groups, you know, self-masturbating. I mean, if you listen to any of the people around here, they stick to their own partitions and they talk about all these wacky ideas. It's just, yeah, trust me, the depressed poet types are better.
I feel like these partitions are so impenetrable. I don't even know how people get into them. Do they just adopt people randomly?
You just walk in.
Oh, God.
It's a bit unnerving
And-
at first, but I mean, clearly, at least you saw Domitian earlier. He had no problem walking up while we were reading and just spouting stuff at us. I mean, you can deride
Yeah?
him for his content, but at least he had confidence.
Jesus Christ. Well, I guess Jesus Christ didn't exist.
All right,
in
Almighty
this world.
Christ, or
Almighty
soul.
Christ.
Yeah.
Well, I put my hand on Zednius's like
Yeah.
thigh, but not in a sexual way, just like in a, like friendly, like touchy, like way, like pay attention to me.
Okay.
I think that we should try to test our confidence. My friend here, he's very shy, and he really wants friends as well. So I think it would be a fun challenge, don't you? And I'm looking at Zednius.
Yeah. I think it would be great to test our theories.
Well then, blind luck. We're just gonna go and walk into the first partition that I choose. Let's see. And I
we
stand
choose
up.
the
It was
one-
so nice talking to you girls.
Yeah, they both
Let's
nod
see if
back
we can
and-
do this.
And I'll wink. I'll give a wink.
Okay.
Oh.
Ooh.
And what are their names?
Julia and Lucretia.
Julia and Lucretia?
Yeah.
Oh. Alright, well, I like
Esme, call me Marcus next time you say who we are.
okay, no problem. I link my arm with Zednius's,
Yeah.
and we just stride towards the
A lot of mixed
partition.
signals to those girls.
A little bit.
Well, not like I'm not holding his hand. It's like a friendly
We're
thing.
swingers. We got
just
the loofahs
friendly
and
arm
the.
locked in.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So you guys head to the partition. I assume with the guys who
With
have
our
no
coffees.
swords. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys approach the booth or not the booth, the partition, and sure enough, there's no like guard or anything. You guys can just sit in. Zednius doesn't have a sword at his waist, so one guy sort of glances over, but more so focuses on the primary speaker. And the primary speaker is a young man. He is clean shaven. He looks pretty handsome, like pretty classically handsome. And based off his clothes, he definitely seems to be pretty wealthy. And he's talking sort of in a hushed tone, so the only people in the partition can hear. And he says, "And I mean, well, we find ourselves here. An empire rampant with corruption, a governor who doesn't care for any of us. Everything's falling apart around us, and yet they say that the next emperor will fix everything. I mean, out on the plains, hundreds of thousands are dead. And for what? The expansion of an empire that none of us benefit from. Where does the wealth of those colonies go? It doesn't go into our hands. It goes into the hands of those sitting in the capital, the new imperial bureaucracy. Great lumbering Goliath stitched together like a monster." He will continue on a long-winded speech about, the evils of the empire, and he doesn't directly talk about like what it should be replaced by or how it should be replaced, but he just talks about many flaws of the existing empire.
Is anyone interrupting him at all, or like talking?
No,
or...
they are. He is
like
like
a leader.
Yeah, he seems to be a leader, and he has like their rapt attention.
Got it. Well, then I will give my rapt attention as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he finishes up, and as he's sort of winding down, he says, "Now," he produces a book. He grabs a book from the table, and the title reads "Tyrantus Delenda Est," which just means like death to tyrants. And he holds it up and says, "Now, did everyone do their reading for this week?" He sort of looks around the group, and a bunch of people nod. His eyes pass over the two of you. You guys know?
We're new here, so this is our first meeting with you guys, I suppose.
Well, that's no problem. Are you familiar with the foundations of Delian democracy and the collapse of tyranny there?
Am I familiar with that at all?
Yeah, am I? I've got a-
Not even close. This is like a very noodly political science thing. There's no reason for your characters to know that.
I look at him, doe-eyed, and I shake my head no.
He nods and says, "Well, that's all right. Then I suppose you'll be learning." And he looks at the rest of the group, and once everyone sort of nods and doesn't nod, he separates everyone off into groups of 4 and says, "All right, well, for those of you that read the text, you can talk about what you learned. Remember, our goal is not to simply blindly criticize, it's to think of things that can build up on the existing institutions. It's not to say the great departments are bad, it's to see what it can be replaced with, and what democratic institutions can improve our lives." And everyone sort of nods, and they separate off into groups, almost like, a professor separating up a class. And you guys find yourself in a group with a woman and a man. The woman is the one who read the text. And it's basically just like a class activity, She's going to start talking about what the book was about, and democracy in the Delian League.
And is the group leader dude who was talking before, what is he doing?
He's just going from group to group, listening in, adding his own points, sort of checking in.
Ah.
Grabbing people's, refilling their coffees and stuff.
I see.
Oh.
And the woman is like explaining the text and what she learned.
Yeah, and then she's gonna start asking you guys for your input. So I don't know how, if you want to, I don't know how deeply you guys are planning on ingratiating yourselves. If you want to like actually be a part of the group, then we can go and see what you say in response to her. Or I'm not sure your infiltration
She's
strategy is.
saying what exactly? She's saying.
Well,
that
she's talking
we
about
should
this like
replace-
this book she read, and then she's gonna ask you guys like, what is your opinion? Like, what institutions in the Empire do you think are flawed, and like, how do you think they could be replaced with something better?
Well,
I think most of them are flawed, at least 90%. The way I would do it is they're all corrupt with nepotism and who knows who and politics. It should really be up to, the people to decide. Whoever has the best argument should be the one that leads.
The woman sort of nods and says, it's interesting in theory, but as we can see in Zuri that was mentioned in the book, they have a direct democracy, but every issue becomes tribal and partisan. I think the departments aren't inherently flawed. Perhaps a representative approach would be better, like they have in Belza.
how would we prevent bureaucracy? We also need to make sure that the systems, don't take too long and that we don't turn everything too minute.
She nods and says, well, I'm not sure what Longinus would say, but I definitely think that we should probably just give up with the Empire. I mean, we're killing and slaughtering Tabrashans out on the plains for what? We hold to this idea that, we're this great liberating force. We have the golden flame guiding us, but it feels wrong. I mean, how many people have died in the war on the plains, and I haven't gotten anything from it. In fact, my life's been made worse. The only reason the Galantine War happened is because the emperors were gallivanting off over at the plains. The way I see it, we should just return to the Reginian Republic, Let go of Sedalia, let go of all that stuff, let go of Praeton, just have local republics, where the interests of the people are actually represented.
And they were defensible, the Reginian Republic?
Well, it did until she looks around and says, did until the traitor emperor overthrew it all.
Emperor.
Well,
I'll be
first
honest.
emperor now.
My friend here and we just walked into a random partition, hoping that we would be able to mingle and make friends. I could never imagine that we would have entered into a partition with such interesting and thought-provoking conversation. I have always had my doubts about the Empire, but I never felt safe to express them with anyone else.
She nods and says, yeah, I mean, I only came here originally because my boyfriend dragged me along, and she squeezed the shoulder of the guy next to her.
Oh.
But they have some really good points. I mean, when has the Empire ever done anything good for me? The Department of Civility was supposed to help me with my symposium payments, and the Department of Faith is supposedly supposed to help the poor, and yet the old city of Ravinium is a ruin.
Mm-hmm.
And she sort of stands up to go grab something, and it's just the three of you guys, and the young man will chat. He's far less zealous than his girlfriend. He'll just talk about, there's some problems with the current empire. But the sort of speaker, the leader of the group, sort of sits down in a chair joining with the three of you and says, well, newcomers, how are you enjoying it?
You're also intelligent. I wasn't...
We do a lot of reading.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, as you were telling our friends here, we just walked into this partition blind. We had no idea what was being talked about in here. We honestly were just trying to make friends. And we are so surprised and refreshed by the conversation here. We never thought that we would be able to speak these thoughts out loud. And our doubts and our worries and concerns.
Well,
Yeah, I didn't know it could even be a different way. The Empire's all I've known.
Later
I'm learning
tonight,
of all these new places.
Later tonight, we're doing a bit of a get-together for those that don't have class. If you'd be interested. It's going to be in the old ruins.
Of course. I
Just
nudged
more discussion of
Simmons.
ideas or party time? Or...
A bit of a party, of course. Can't neglect that. But we also have a guest speaker. He's going to talk to us about a fatal flaw in the Varusian Creed. I think he's a theologian. That's what he's studying anyways. He goes to the preschool on the far side of town.
Ooh. Very interesting. do you have any recommendations for reading? I mean, I can only speak for myself, but this is also new to me. I only had my own doubts. I was never so lucky to be educated on other people's doubts, and I
he
feel
nods and he grabs 2 books and hands one to you. This here is Terrentis Delenda Est. It's the book that we were supposed to, most people read this week. It's about the birth of democracy up in the Delian League. And this one, and he hands you another text, this is, let's say, an alternative history of the rise of the Empire. It's it's the book that originally got me into all this. After I read it, I began to question everything I'd been told since I was a young man about the supremacy of Empire.
Ooh. I'll grab the alternative history book. Where did you pick? Because these ones don't look art books like the kind I bought.
No, these are very simple, like almost like printing press style, like utilitarian.
Where do you guys get your books? I haven't seen very many bookstores.
Well, luckily the coffee house keeps some of them on hand. They buy all new releases and stock the shelves. There's a library room in the back. And then others are in the university library. Most of these authors are smart enough to just sort of float the line of legal criticism.
And I'm sorry if this sounds dumb, but will we get in trouble if we're found with these? Should we be very careful?
The books alone can't get you in trouble. Just don't be foolish about what you say. You're all still loyal servants of the Empire, and we wish to see the Empire thrive. We just have some forms to offer.
Of course. And she, smiles kind of knowingly.
Yeah.
Pepe.
Yeah, he steps up from his chair and says, well, if you don't have class, I hope that you can join us in the ruins. It should be a good time.
We most certainly will. Can I extend my hand to him and be like, Esme?
He'll shake it and say, Longinus Gaius Galenus Bologna.
Longinus?
Ooh.
Gaius Galenus Bologna?
Galenus Bologna.
Galenus. Got it.
Very proper name.
Longinus.
Well, I'm sure you have some similar name. I mean, you're in the symposium, you must at least be a noble.
Zednia, or sorry, what's your fake
Marcus.
name? Marcus?
Yeah.
Okay. Marcus, would you get me another coffee? Would you mind?
I look at you. What do you what?
Well, I just mean we should both get coffee.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
We could both go get coffee.
Girl. Do you?
Yeah, Longinus moves to the table, and you guys go up to exit the partition to go grab a re-up, and you're not going with her? Zednius, are you going with her?
I thought I was going to get the coffee, and they were staying behind. What?
No, and then I while we were
fucking
walking,
sit
the
up.
both of us, to grab the coffee, I'll whisper in your... I'm sorry, I didn't know how much you had planned into your backstory. I was hoping he wouldn't put you on the spot there.
It's okay. I mean, we found out about the ruin. He didn't seem suspicious. We'll be fine.
I nod. And we'll grab another cup of coffee.
So yeah, are you guys just gonna socialize with these people?
I want to get... who's the drug dealer?
Adam was in a different partition, but there was a drug dealer.
Okay, is that partition empty now?
No.
I'm going in there.
Okay. Yeah, you head into the partition. The man there, he's speaking with several other guys. He chats with them. They're talking, and it's almost thieves' camp. It's still proper language, but they're just using a lot of slang and stuff. And eventually, they hand him over some coins, and he sends them on their way. But you don't see the direct transfer of any drug from his hand.
Goes
into
some
their
sleight of hand business.
Yeah, and you sort of scoot over, and he says, "Huh, I don't know you. You got
I'm new
a
in
buddy?"
town. I got a buddy. Her over
Do I
there.
go
She's
in
getting
with him?
coffee.
Did he let me know?
No, I think he just
He
put
just
off.
strode in.
Yeah.
Got it.
He's getting some coffee. We're going to a party tonight. I was hoping maybe you had something.
Yeah, I got some new stuff from the city-state.
Oh, city state.
Yeah, I call it Baby Blue. It's expensive though.
Let me see. What does it do?
Can't let you, but I will tell you, it's. I've never felt anything like it. Don't take too much.
gonna get us fucking killed, and he's gonna get white boy price.
And?
So, are you interested?
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, let me see, or let me get some.
All right. 2 gold.
For how much? How many hits?
Gets you about 20.
So that's what, $100 a hit?
That's yeah, it's like $2,000. He's asking a lot of money from you.
That's a lot of money. Do you have anything less?
He narrows his eyes at you and says, looks at your clothes, looks at you. If you want baby blue, that's the price.
Some fireballs, bro.
How about half the regular and half this blue?
All right then. Gold and 2 silver.
All right, I can do that.
All right. You hand him over the coins, and he says, "Go out back, big guy, 6 foot, got some paunch on him. Tell him that you made a deal with me."
Okay. So I haven't handed him the money yet, right?
You have handed.
Oh, I have. Okay.
Yeah, and you head out back behind the cafe. There's a large guy there sitting next to a pile of refuse and muck.
You got the blue?
He looks at you and says, "What's it to you?"
Made a deal with the guy in the partition.
Yeah, 1 sec. He sort of looks around, and you see another young man sort of come out of the back entrance same way you did, and he sort of whispers something to the big guy, and the big guy tosses you 2 small little, almost coin purse size, like baggies.
Does that look like 10 doses?
I don't know. I don't think that any of us would know.
Okay.
One of it has standard fire moss, the other one has this bright teal fire moss that's like neon teal.
Right. Okay.
All right. And I assume you're just going back and socializing for
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Just to not be so.
All right. So
When he comes back, I want to like kind of lean into him and be like, "Oh, where the fuck did you go?"
I got us some stuff to blend in at the party, just in case.
I look at him. Stuff?
A little more potent than your wine.
Oh god. I've never dabbled in that. I don't know how that is.
So, Severus, you've been on this roof for like 2 hours. There has been no... The little blob has not talked to you. You were told that that's how you remain in contact. What are you doing? Like, you're just hanging out on the top of this roof waiting for...
No, so, as soon as I'm realizing that, like, no one is actually, like, nothing's happening, I'll probably after, like, an hour or something of no contact, nothing whatsoever.
Yeah.
I wanna, just fuck, what's it called? Chimney. The chimney I'm leaning against, does it have, like, grate on top of it?
Nope.
Oh, no grate?
No, there's smoke actively coming out of it, though.
What's it smell like?
It smells like...
Do I smell coffee?
What would it smell like? No, I guess, yeah, you wouldn't smell coffee, but it's just like steam. Steam rising from it. Yeah, it's steaming, and it does smell like coffee.
Is it like a strong scent of coffee?
Yes.
I want to take off my cloak and just have it like in that for like 5 minutes or something. I just want to absorb the scent.
Yeah.
Coffee smells so good.
Okay. All right. You're just stealing their coffee vapor. Easy clap. Yeah. I mean, your cloak is soaking wet because it's literally just suspended in steam. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll just I wouldn't like have it like in there the whole time. Just like dip it in a bit, have it out. So
Okay.
it's probably gonna be like
Yeah.
fairly
The
noisy,
smell
I
is
guess.
suffused. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'll just like put it back on.
Okay. And you're just hanging out.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying the coffee smell, waiting for anything.
All right.
I know that waiting's half the game.
Maximus and Lars. So you guys went on like a 20-minute shopping excursion, and you're approaching Palantine. You see a large coffee house with hundreds of patrons going to and fro. The busy main street, people coming from the symposium. It's a busy place with a lot of shit happening. What are the two of you lads doing? Bench.
What?
Ethan?
I don't know.
Yogi? No, Yogi. Yoda?
It was
Oh,
it was muted.
Alright.
Yeah, it was muted.
Yoda's also
Yeah,
muted.
I'll look at Lars. And,
Dota?
Lars, I don't
Yeah.
think this is really our scene.
Dota said you were back. Hasn't said back yet. I think
Oh,
you might
he's
have
just
gotten a
gone
call
forever,
from work.
it feels.
Playing
Well,
PoE.
in that case, I guess
Are you just headed back to the... Are you just going to sit out this operation and leave it to the youngsters?
I don't know, what else is there in the city?
Well, I mean, there's other errands that you could run. There's obviously tons of entertainment. There's bars. There's duelist arenas. There's
Oh, drinks.
stuff.
What's is there like a smaller coffee shop anywhere in the area?
Yeah, there are normal cafes
has,
compared
like,
to the
visibility?
colossal coffee shops. Yeah, there's some normal cafes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just I'll sit down there with Lars, I guess, and get us some coffee and just grumble about how
Yeah.
young people are destroying the empire and their opinions are wrong. And,
Yeah, you
just
can-
generally
you
be cantankerous.
Yeah, and you can snack on some pastries. Well,
Dota said he's gonna be back in about 5 minutes.
oh, okay.
Pastry.
All right, Zednius and Renesmee, the two of you guys have been ingratiating yourselves. People have been leaving at different
Oh,
times.
I'll
going to
also take off
classes.
my judge's badge and instruct Lars to do the same.
All right. People have been going to and fro, leaving, some returning, but overall, the meeting seems to be wrapping up, as most people have to go to class or have other shit they need to do. And Longinus sort of goes into the middle of the partition and says, "Well, thanks for meeting today, guys. Don't forget, we have the party in the ruins tonight, and if you're worried about where it is, ask around. Them. Pretty easy to find. And see you all then." Most
I know
people
where the
begin-
ruins are, right?
Yeah, it's a section of... Yeah, we'll get to that in a sec. Most people are going to file out of the booth, but yes, you do know where it is. And are you trying to, like, call anyone or keep in touch with them, or are you just going about your own business like everyone else? And exiting the...
I'd like to go up to Longinus and just like thank him again for the books, and I wanna ask him like, do we owe you anything for the books? And do you guys meet here every week?
No, we meet here every few days. I mean, if you're around here, you'll probably see us. And, no, you don't owe me for the books. They're from the coffee house. You shouldn't take them outside of it.
Ah, got it. Thank you.
What was his final name?
Bologna. The Department of
Bologna?
War.
Longinus
Ooh.
something Valonia.
What a
Scum.
not even a soldier.
Yeah, true. That means he's born into it. He didn't earn it like you.
I'll smile at him and say, well, we will see you at the ruins then.
Yeah, he gives you a smile as well. And, yeah, the partition begins to fill up with a totally different group of people talking about totally different shit. Where are you guys going?
To the ruins.
The ruins already?
What
I'm
time
not
is
going
it?
there yet.
It's like middle of the day.
Oh, fucking never mind.
I want to hang out at the
It's
coffee
like
shop and
another
read
hour
that new book.
passes.
Yeah, I'd like to read my book as well. Well, honestly, I would like to read Zednius's book over his shoulder.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Severus, what'd you say?
If like another hour passes of like nothing
Oh,
happening,
I'll ping you that we're fine.
All right,
Yeah.
so
If I-
yeah,
I'll tell her
after
we're
about
fine.
maybe another 30 minutes, as you're just sitting there, kind of like getting, like honestly just baking in the sun, you feel a weight on your head and then a voice. Complete.
half dozing off. Oh,
Complete.
yes, come.
Down.
Sure. I'll okay, here's where it's gonna get awkward. How tall is this roof?
20 feet.
I can take a bit of fall damage, I guess.
You can crawl down. Why would you do that?
I'm gonna like on my like stomach scuttle towards where I got on the roof at the top
Yeah.
and just like look over the edge.
Yeah, in
to
that
see if
back
there's anyone
alleyway,
below
you
right
see
now.
a guy sitting on a pile of refuse. He's like 6 foot, big old beefy arms.
Does he look dangerous?
Yeah.
Oh,
Can I find a separate spot to go down?
Everything
No,
else
go
is on
steal
the
all his
open
drugs.
Go steal his drugs.
I will say though, you would definitely see Mickey. Mickey stands out like a sore thumb in the street, so you would see like an
He's
armored horse
armored.
outside of a cafe. Yeah, Mickey is the most easy to spot thing in the world. So as you're like on your belly
Oh.
scooting over, you see a
The
street.
beacon!
Yeah, half a street away, you see a armored horse outside of a pastry cafe.
I'll just slide down the pipe on the side.
Yeah, the buff guy looks at you as you're sliding down the pipe and sort of narrows his eye, but doesn't say anything. Mutual understanding passes between the two of you.
Yeah, I'll just give him.
He's committing a crime.
I'll
you're
just give him a
committing crime.
respectful.
Yeah.
Just a respectful aura of silence.
Yeah, two of you guys.
You're a judge.
Yeah, and you guys both go your own way. Yeah, and you can make your way down the street to where
I want to
Mickey
make sure
is.
that no one's following me though.
Sure, make a perception check.
What?
What?
Go?
Perception check.
Duh.
Yeah, no one's
no,
following you,
check.
best as you can tell.
It's just I'm very
yeah,
slow with
you
this
make
mouse.
your way to a cafe where you find Lars and Maximus. Sit down at the table with them.
Oh, they about done.
That's to you.
Yeah, I think so. Hagal said they were.
Huh. Alright then.
Do you want me to go inside and check in on them?
No, they'll be alright. They're done, then they're probably just, intermingling so it doesn't seem suspicious they left right after asking a bunch of questions.
Is there like a like one of like a like somewhere on the street on like a sign or something for like the basic shit?
No, they serve one thing at the Palantine, so.
Do I know if they have coffee to go? Basically,
Yes?
do they?
Yes.
I'll go inside.
Alright, yeah. You stand up from the
Nope,
table with,
Severus.
you walk away from Maximus.
Uh,
You're too lazy to force him, right? I mean, is that right?
yes,
sure
obviously,
that's okay.
yeah.
Alright,
Not
Severus,
worth it right
you
now.
stand up and you head to Palantine. You head inside, you approach the counter, you ask for a coffee to go, they give it in a little cup. They tell you to return the cup or they'll be mad. And you see...
Wait, how is it to go if I can't go with a cup?
Well, you can go with the cup, but you just need to return it. They don't have fucking disposable paper cups.
Yeah, I know. I'm just checking. I don't have a mess kit. Otherwise, I'd probably have my own cup
True.
to fill it in with.
That would work.
Nerd.
Yeah, and as you're sort of looking around, sipping on this, you can see in a partition, you can see Zednius and Redesme reading from the same book.
Can I find a partition that's unoccupied and sit down there?
Yep.
Alright, and then I wanna suddenly under the table cast a message towards Zednius.
Yep. You know exactly where he is, so it'll go through without a problem.
I'll just tell him. How'd everything go?
Longer than I thought.
You guys are
So, Zednius, you're in the middle of reading this book, and it is a scathing critique of the Empire, basically. Like, it's not directly, but it does talk about, like, the fall of the Republic, and it basically paints the First Emperor as the most slovenly, like, butcherous, like, horrible human you've ever read about. And as you're reading
What
this,
was that
like,
first word?
slovenly?
Never heard that word before.
Oh,
How do you
look
write
it
that?
up. Yeah, so as you're reading this, Zednius, you're in the middle of reading a chapter about how the first emperor boiled his political opponents alive inside a town square at Mythos. And as you're reading this, you hear a voice in your head. It sounds similar to Severus, and he says, "Are you alright?"
Oh, I'll shake.
You look around.
But it was in my head.
It was in your head, yeah.
I'll like peek out of the partition. Do I see?
Yeah, you peek out of the partition. You see an open sort of area. You don't see anything else.
Hello?
That's the one word you can send back. As you, so Severus, you hear hello.
I'll cast again. Oh, it's me, Severus. Sitting in a petition nearby. Got myself a nice coffee. How it go?
I didn't know you could do this.
It can only go one message back and forth. Yeah. So he composes a thing, then you have to compose a thing. And it's like less than 25 words. So you hear
I don't
back in
think
your
it's
head.
limited by words necessarily. It just
I think it
that's
explicitly
sending.
says you can only do 25 words. But you're right, that
No,
makes
no, that's sending. But this one is also limited. Like it's just not specific.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter.
Do you exit your partition and walk over to them, or do you continue to do this message relay tag?
I'll message them like once or twice and ask them how it went, and then I'll say I'll wait outside, stand up, finish my coffee, return the cup, and leave.
I had one more. If like he asks again,
Yeah.
if he asks the third time, I'll tell him we're meeting at the ruins tonight.
I'll just like when I leave, I just tell him I'll wait outside. Maximum's in Laza there too.
Well, we're gonna be a while.
No, you should come out. Make a plan.
It'll be a
No,
while.
I want to read this book. I'm into this.
Read the book
now.
later.
I can't take it with me.
Just steal it, forehead.
Well, yeah,
Based
Severus
on-
left his final message of, he'll be outside and exits the coffee house. And this whole time, Renesmee, you've just seen, Zednia stand up, walk to the edge of the partition, look around, look like he's his lips, opening like he's talking, and then he sits back down.
He's having a moment.
Well, what I
Let's get some posting.
Don't you think I would
Did he
be?
take the book with him, or did he set it on
No,
the
he
table?
didn't. He just left it on the table with you.
Okay, well, I look at him and I'm like, oh, god damn it. And I take the book and I just keep reading. I'm interested in the book.
Yeah,
I've been
I
reading
am
over
too.
his shoulder.
I'm interested in it. That was Severus talking through magic. He was just checking in on us.
Oh, I
He
thought
said
you
he's
were
gonna wait
talking to your little
outside, so-
blob thing.
Little blob thing. He has a name. It's had to go.
Yeah, Hetty. He doesn't mind
No.
that, right? If I call him Hetty?
I don't think you know.
I'm asking.
Oh, you're asking? Well, I think he's kind of mad at you at the moment, but
Mad at me.
yeah, when you splashed wine all over us,
Oh.
he was very upset about that.
Oh no, I didn't realize that I splashed wine on him. Can I tell him I'm so sorry?
but with me,
Hetty,
it's no
I'm so
problem.
sorry. Hetty,
not
I
here.
have my little hands open and I'm looking at the ceiling. Hetty, I'm sorry. Please, I didn't mean to.
He's not even there, Giga Chad.
Renesmee, stop. You're gonna cause a scene. I think that we should wrap up this chapter and then maybe sneak it out with us.
That would be good.
So, here's a question. You guys don't need to blend in anymore. You've already read this thing. You've already talked to people. Are you starting to, kind of decide with them? Because, you're just reading this as, voluntarily.
No, because once you know what benefits me, I don't care.
Just tell me if
I
I'm
think that-
assassinating
You're just giving me everything, so
Yeah.
I think, personally, that it is Renesmee finds, and this might be just me intertwining her personality and my personality together, but finds, weird called and, weird political stuff, just interesting to read. She doesn't necessarily agree with it, but she finds it, very, very, very interesting, and she doesn't want to, persecute these.
yeah. They're new opinions, so I'm very
Yeah.
intrigued by that. That I've never heard these.
I almost want to study them and
Yeah.
understand where they're coming from, but not necessarily agree with them.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, you guys can finish the chapter. It's about the conquest of Breton. And even in, the official history, the conquest of Breton is one of the most brutal things the Empire has ever done. There was two warring sectarian groups on the island that had very different religious and cultural. And the Empire, their solution was annihilate both of them, and then there's no discord. So they essentially committed organized genocide and destroyed both of those entire cultures and religions and replaced it with the Imperial Creed. And then they had the locals rule over themselves as possible. So the Conquest of Breton is a very dark chapter in Imperial history, and this book amps it up to 11, telling every single gory story rather than just the ones that have a semi-happy ending. But you can wrap up the chapter, and you're gonna head outside and find Severus.
Suppose
Yeah,
so.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, you guys exit after finishing that chapter. You guys trying to smuggle out this book with you, right?
Yep.
All right, then you can add
Yeah.
official history of the Empire to your sheet. No one, there's not like guards. It's literally just like a merit, like an honor system, not still in a book. So.
Unofficial history of the Empire.
Yeah, well, that worked out.
Yeah, and you guys can head outside. You can see Mickey, you can see Severus, Lars, and Maximus all inside of the pastry shop where Mickey is tied to just outside of.
Well, I suppose we'll go in, and on the way there, I want to be chatting with Zednius about just like the book. Like,
Do you think that all those things that they were writing were actually real? Or do you think they're just hamming it up?
I mean, I'm sure that they happened, but is it any worse than the alternative? I'm sure that no matter what happened, it was always horrible.
that's true.
I don't remember what history said happened in the democracy days. Just the democracy. I'm sure that they, like, still murdered people and stuff, right?
Of course, have you ever known peace?
That's true. That's true.
So you guys head inside the pastry shop. The three of them are there. Lars is snacking on a croissant, eating some snacks, and Maximus is just looking old and grumpy.
We walk up to his table.
And sit. What snacks are
Yep.
they eating?
Yep.
What snacks?
Well, Maximus,
Coffee
what would you
and
be?
pastry.
Coffee and pastry.
Be drinking some coffee and eating a little pastry with some butter on it.
I sit down. That looks good.
I
Tasty.
thought you only ate oats.
I don't only eat oats, I just enjoy them.
You,
Jesus.
Renesmee, you have a very similar diet. All right, water and oats. Look at him, water
That's
and
why
oats.
we get along so well.
Fruit,
Mm-hmm.
fruit.
Yeah.
Well, we...
Well, what'd you
Um,
find in the House of
uh,
Horrors?
well, we,
Nobody's
spoke-
watching us, right? Can I make a perception check that Lagonius didn't follow
you can
us?
look over at these other two Longinus.
Longinus.
You can look at the other two tables in this tiny little pastry
The only
shop.
name I've ever remembered.
Well, yeah, because
I've
he's killed
asked
Jesus,
Alex
bro. Like,
multiple times.
Longinus is a big name.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
so-
I absolutely only remembered it because it's funny.
Damn.
Yeah.
So wait,
is
what did you want me to do?
100% the only
Perception
reason.
check. You look around this tiny little pastry shop.
Based.
Okay, where's the tab?
That's very true, Peach. Hipster coffee is
Yep.
always acidic and burnt. Yeah,
Yep.
Zennius, you look
Wait,
around.
is that coffee? In that case, I didn't even finish it, okay?
Yeah. You look around, and you do not see any other. You don't see anyone without swords at their waist other than yourself. Like, there's no young men without swords in the shop or outside.
Okay. Because it'd look weird if, like, the two hipster people went right to some kitted out soldier guy.
I mean, yeah, that would look weird if someone was following you.
Absolutely
Yeah.
out of his mind.
Anywho, what'd you find?
There's going to be a guest speaker tonight at a party in the ruins. I think that we should make our way there tonight.
The ruins?
The ruins.
The ruins, Alex?
What are the ruins?
Renesmee can show us.
I nod.
What are they?
Are we welcome there too?
I mean, I grew up near here, but I didn't grow up in the city.
Is there any lore I can provide them for the ruins?
Hakon is stepping back for a second, so
Oh no.
Ah. Well,
Ooh,
I
well,
don't.
all right, we'll figure out a plan while he's.
Yeah, I'm not sure that you guys should come. Even so, it's supposedly a party in the ruins by those Republican people, and I'm assuming it's still going to be the same young crowd of students.
Did they have a guest speaker?
when she mentions the Republican people, I'll look like visibly disgusted.
Yeah, I will as well. You say they have a guest speaker?
Apparently, yes.
Who is it?
From the ministry.
Yeah,
What?
I'm not sure that they said
We didn't.
who
We don't know
it
his
was.
name.
About the fatal flaw in the Verusian Creed. It's a theologian? A theologist? A theologist?
Theologian. With one of the
Theologist.
ministries.
Apparently. I'm not sure which one, but I'm sure
Oh.
that we'll glean more soon.
Oh, maybe this is turning out to be something. Quite interesting.
Are
Perhaps
theologists
could we,
allowed to like have any of these beliefs?
Theologians and
Theologians.
it really like technically no, not at all. After there's something called the Light Wars where the Emperor Aurelian Varus, Sol, the current one, basically destroyed the church. He annihilated the Church of the Almighty and rebuilt the Imperial Church, which follows the Verusian Creed. So this is equivalent to like a modern priest saying that like the Council of Nicaea is flawed and there's not a triune God. It's like a foundational belief of the religion. So to say that it's inherently flawed is like textbook heresy.
The Council of what is flawed?
Verusian Creed. It's like the current religious canon of the entire empire.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
I'm probably super pro Empire.
Yeah, because you're a part of Clan Verusian.
You're from Atari, of course you are.
Yeah, isn't it? Be like being. Actually, I'm not.
Can't
I'm not
be like,
gonna,
let's
I'm
be
not
the
gonna go
fucking-
farther
I mean,
with
this
that.
guy was from the military
Never
family
mind.
and was anti
Yeah.
the empires.
Well, because you can just be
I
born
was
into
a-
those. You earned your position.
That's
I was
true.
a judicial duelist, but I'm not sure that I enjoyed killing people super much. You know, I did what had to be done.
Fuck that! I absolutely did.
I think I probably enjoyed it depending
I don't know.
on
The
their
first person
crime.
First person I ever killed was probably in this campaign.
Or in the
Oh my
or in the
God.
ghettos of
I
Nautius.
still haven't killed a
In this
human yet.
campaign? What's
I
a
don't know if
campaign
I've-
that is?
We all
Anyway,
look
I don't know if
at
I've
him.
ever killed
Okay.
like a human.
I personally think we should crash this little attendance meeting. You know, get the big fish.
Yeah, have them all strung up.
Well,
Traitors.
Well,
I
I don't know
think
about all of them. Some of them are gonna make it away, but we can get
Yeah.
the guest speaker. Whoever's did you make the leader of this little group that was in there?
We did. Yeah.
but I
What was
think
the
there's
name?
still more to be
Someone from
gleaned.
the Valerian clan.
There's more to be gleaned. Is that that's what you're saying?
Yes,
Yeah, that's why we
I
get-
don't
that's
think
why
that
we
it
get the guy
ends
in
here.
charge.
Yeah.
I think that if we wait another day, we can find out
Yeah. You
even
should know
more
the
of the
value of-
operators.
You know the
Yes,
So how
value
come-
of
infiltration
Sure, but
patience.
we're gonna miss the opportunity to grab this guest speaker.
Well, I
No.
doubt
Lots of
so.
other
We'll know
traitors.
who he is.
Doesn't mean we can get to him afterwards.
Well,
though.
yes, but we will need evidence, and apprehending him at the scene, I'd say, is pretty good evidence.
Well, theoretically, you could bust him, and we could stay in role and character, and see where that leads us.
That actually is
Oh
a
yeah,
pretty
what
good
if
idea.
what if us three bust you guys and we take like 4 prisoners as well?
Well,
like that.
Jesus,
I-
we're new, so I'm not sure that you would, out of everyone that's going to
Yeah,
be
we
there.
wouldn't be.
Well, we would
high-profile
probably
targets.
like temporarily
I
arrest
like
everyone at the
that
scene.
plan.
Right?
Oh, I see.
I think you should arrest.
Yes,
oh,
it's like
well, if
so,
you,
so
if you
your
could.
so your cover isn't suspicious or anything like that.
Thank goodness, just if you get in
Yes.
trouble
Yeah.
with them.
Well,
And then we'll-
actually,
we could
maybe
run
not,
away,
because
and then we could be with the groups of people that
And
did get
we'll,
away.
then we will release you and you
everyone,
can
there's-
tell them.
there's one slight flaw. Because this isn't like modern day. We don't just have to release them after apprehending them. We just keep them in jail. So that actually wouldn't work if we apprehend them,
Real
because we
shit.
just would never release them, because you don't have like rights.
Do you not?
So yeah, we
No, of
we,
course
we
not.
won't.
Assuming we'll all run, right? So we'll know
yes.
you're coming and we'll run.
Yes, and you won't be caught, but you gotta act like you're scared and all that.
Of
course.
course.
Yeah, that
well,
seems,
just don't arrest the
Wait.
2 people with white blonde hair.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have an issue
Wait, that's so
Is-
true. You guys
Yeah.
stand
You
out
guys-
so much.
figuring you guys out. I don't think that'll be an issue. Anyway,
Oh,
so
Renesmee, you're asking us to
I'll make a-
profile based on appearances?
Well, I'm going to make a
you don't.
minor illusion of a portrait of Longinus, just so they know who to look for, just in case.
That you guys are still in a public place. Chill.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I'm just
a bad
you would
idea.
know this, but yeah, just a reminder, you are still in like a public pastry
okay.
shop.
Yeah, I'll wait until
Oh, I
we.
thought we were
I
back in
can
the
show you what it
senators.
looks
No.
like, but we'll have to get somewhere private.
Why don't you take
Take one of them
Perhaps
into
we
the
should go back
bathroom.
Perhaps we should go back and update the senator.
Oh yeah, Lars Maximus, did you sort out the thing with the chain? How much is it worth?
Well,
Oh yeah.
that is an excellent question. If we just sold it for the mithril, it'd be worth about 750 gold.
Damn.
However,
600.
I'm thinking we can get a better price for it. Wait, what did you say something else?
600.
Oh, sorry, 650. I knew I might have fucked that up. 650
Just
gold,
lying
but
to us.
Oh, I thought it was
the dwarf I
exaggerating.
took it to says it is a historical artifact or a historical piece of some kind, and that he may be able to get a bunch of smiths together and have them buy it from us for just the historical value for more. So we gotta wait on that.
They're coming to the city?
Wait, did we tell
No,
them
they're already
about
here.
the-
There's a Smiths Guild meeting tomorrow, and he'll have to discuss it with all of them. And
I'm okay with waiting. We'll be here another few days
well,
anyway.
yes, I waited. I didn't just sell it there and then.
I'll say quietly in Sinvalin.
We hate Maximus. He never gets to understand us.
Fuck! I just want to say something that not everyone who's walking by will
I think the
understand.
entire party.
Everyone
understands
speaks it
Symbolin
besides,
except for me.
besides him.
Is there any languages that you speak that like no one else speaks? Maybe.
Me?
Mentari?
We both speak
No, I mean-
Frumentari.
Both speak Frumentari, so if you want to
Maximus.
speak to him in a weird, me?
No.
Just
Uh,
speak
I
in
don't know, man.
common. No one.
Yeah, dude, I speak
Yeah.
to Brashen. I speak to Brashen, I guess, if you really want.
I don't know that
Mythos.
language.
Speak in common.
Speaking common,
We're
dude.
Mythos, would you
All
all
right,
speak?
I'll just say very, very quietly. Maybe we should get back to that senator's house and grab the other chains. That funding could help us a lot.
That is a terrible idea. We can't just take his property.
Well,
I
He's
don't
dead,
it
think
would
right?
just be.
I
He's
don't
would
think
just-
we were
he
within
knows he
our
has
legal
it.
right to take
We
this
would-
one, but no one seemed
What do
to
you mean?
complain.
Right, he's a criminal.
What?
He was a criminal.
How?
Wait, so you think like having? Well, he basically killed people because of his own
What?
incompetence.
What?
Maximus.
What?
Maximus, if Mickey was to go around and
What?
like kick a bunch of people in the head and kill them, that would be your fault legally, right?
No.
It wouldn't.
No.
I got no idea where this is going.
Unless I was on Mickey, being like walking up to people and then saying, "Pick." No.
No, because we would
shit.
hold a horse
The next time
accountable.
I'm going onto
Look at this
town,
book,
I'm
it
bringing
says
like
so.
20 hungry trolls, just letting everyone be killed. I'm just
Okay.
legally not
You must
culpable, I
see.
guess.
You must see how that is completely different.
To having an angry elemental below your bed, I don't think it's that disanalogous.
I wouldn't go so far.
What is the? What does my
Stupid.
book
This
say
is a stupid conversation.
about owned animals,
No.
Harkin? My religious text.
The religious
about
book?
Animal rights. About animal rights.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say we have talked in the past about religious trials against animals. However, when there is secular ownership of a piece of property, that goes to the secular courts, not the religious one.
Okay.
So religious law doesn't give a fuck.
Wait, but
Anyway,
Hakon,
we go
Hakon, who's
back and
right
update
here
the guy?
legally?
Legal. Okay, so basically, you guys are judges, so law doesn't matter. Like, you guys can literally do whatever the fuck you
Well,
want. The
except
only
for
reason.
Severus.
Well, yeah, true. The only thing that matters is reputationally. If you guys get enough people pissed off, you will be fired. In terms of practicality, your boss is able to review any of your decisions, overturn them, and then punish you accordingly. So, the only thing, as judges in particular, if you can get away with it, might as well do it. And for this particular instance, if you had the justification of saying this person is a criminal, take his stuff, that is true. If someone's a criminal, you're able to impound literally all their property, depending
Yeah,
on the
maybe we
severity
should
of the
impound this very suspicious thing and return it to its rightful cultural ancestral owners. For a
Okay.
price.
Two things, Severus. One, no one but you is, and maybe Renesmee, is delusional enough to think that he's a criminal or to see anything particularly suspicious in this. All right? I don't know why I said
Yeah.
one. That's it. That's the whole thing.
I
Yeah,
guess,
that's
you
it.
know,
Who's the
I guess
criminal?
keeping
Sorry,
a
I
little
think I might have
ticking
missed
time
something.
bomb below your
We were
bed
talking about that
is really not illegal.
proconsul who got killed by the arrow.
Reckless endangerment is not a thing, Copium.
Okay. I would say that chaining something up with a chain that is used to guard giant dwarven doors from massive sieges is. I'd say that's taking enough precautions, okay? Alright, that's like if I locked up Mickey in an iron safe, and then someone exploded it open, and then he got out and started kicking people. Not my fault.
Well,
Right.
it's closer to like if you put me inside a cage without taking away my lockpicks, and I go out and slit the guard's throat. You should be able to understand that I can escape very easily, and that I'm uncontrollable and dangerous.
No, if I wrapped this chain around you and it was still working, you'd sit there until you died of
But I'm not an
dehydration.
air elemental, am I?
Well, it seems like
No,
none of the
but-
actual judges are interested in pursuing this line of questioning, so for now, there's no reason
wait.
to
Yeah, alright then.
pursue.
Wait, Renes,
Anywho,
mate, you
off we
don't
go.
think that him, you don't think that him capturing this wild animal and making it go to a point where it literally killed dozens, or like a dozen people on a mad rampage while it was in desperate pain is like an illegal thing? You think that that's like him really endangering people and killing
What
them?
do you think we're
directly?
going to do? Prosecute a dead man?
Yes.
Great,
Take his
great
shit.
point.
This
Yes,
is what Severus
absolutely.
wants us to do.
Prosecute his estate. Take the money.
Hey, Severus!
Take the money.
Hey,
that-
Severus! Come,
I'm sorry,
Come here, buddy.
Severus, we're actually
here,
the one
buddy.
that tried to kill the air elemental as I was begging you to stop.
Wait, what? He freed it.
come here, buddy.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
I'm gonna
Just
lean
this
in.
stuff
I'm gonna
can't
lean in
speak.
real close. Real close. Hey, Severus, are you a judge?
Oh, no,
Oh,
no,
God.
No, but I'm the only one who's
No,
truly
no,
loyal to the Empire here,
No.
okay?
Excuse me?
No, you are not. No, you are not.
All of the
So,
judges give him
Anyway,
icy stares.
let's go back to the senator's house now.
God damn. You know, I will say, if Severus ever does become a judge, you Giga Chad, then none of that will matter.
Yes, Severus, if you become a judge, you can feel free to go back and take his shit. Okay? I will not stop.
I mean, what do we even gain from just taking all his stuff? Riches? Is that it?
Yeah.
Money.
We can
Yeah.
take those riches
Money's
and
pretty
distribute
good.
them to the... money's pretty good.
You want to donate,
the rich,
don't you?
the people suffered.
Severus,
They
I
would-
think that
they
you
would-
would
doesn't-
quite like this club that Xenius and I came to today.
Uh-oh.
No,
Did you like it, Renesmee?
She laughs.
Take a
Not
look
quite.
at this
It was interesting though.
Alright then. Anyway, let's go!
Alright, you got out from the bar. Gore comes alongside you. Hatagal rolls back onto your shoulders, Ednius. And the dynamic quintuple. Yeah, quintuple. You guys all make your way back to the senator's estate. It's about 2 or 3 in the afternoon by the time you arrive. The senator seems to be entertaining guests because you can see 2 carriages outside, both with the symbology of 2 different great houses carved into them, one of Clan Blood, another of Clan Jin. And since he seems to have guests at the moment, are you guys continuing to the estate, or are you going to keep your distance?
We can continue to the
Yeah,
estate.
continue. I still want to
Okay.
show them what Longinus looks like.
Sure. You guys head into the entryway. A servant is there, and he says, judges, welcome back. Currently, the senator is entertaining guests, but is there
Oh, no problem.
something that
No
you would
problem.
like?
It's not urgent. We're just back here temporarily before we head out again. For...
I'm sure Renesmee would like a
Different
portion of oats.
I
I can
laugh
order
and
dinner
go,
to be made. But the second floor sitting room is available for all of you.
Ah, excellent. Thank you.
He nods and steps out of the way, and you guys can head up the stairs to the
Oh,
floor.
and then I'll say, if he does have a moment, it would be excellent if he could come up here so we could update him.
All right, I'll have him sent as soon as he's available.
Excellent.
Oh, go down to him, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if it's
Interrupt
proper for
the
us to
guest,
send
I
for
guess?
him.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I don't know if that's.
Shouldn't
I
he
don't know
send
if it's
for
that
us?
urgent.
Isn't he like higher status?
Kind of.
He has
Yes,
guests
and
out there.
so that's why I said when he has time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You
When
guys head
such
upstairs.
is, yeah.
Sitting room. You guys sit down. Are you doing anything while you wait?
I'm
I
gonna
wanna-
show Longinus, Severus, and Lars
Yeah.
a
Maximus,
image
you
of
recognize
what
this
he looks
guy.
like.
What?
You recognize this portrait.
Oh.
This here is a young man. When you were in the 7th Legion, you had a Primus Tribunus, which is like the senior. It's a person directly sent by the Emperor themselves to be the Emperor's delegate to the Legion, basically, like the government's direct connection to the military high command.
Yeah.
And he brought his son along with him, and that is this guy. That you would recognize him instantly because he was very fucking annoying. He never did any of the fortification. He always talked like negatively about you guys being in the plains in the first place. He was just an incredibly annoying person to deal with, and from your perspective as a centurion.
Well, this guy, really?
Oh, do you know
This
him?
is him. Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
How?
Well,
Did you serve
is-
with him? He doesn't look like he served.
God, no. No, his father was, civilian representative to the Legion, directly sent by the Emperor. Very important, alright? When I was in the Legions, he came and was our representative in the 7th, and this kid was his son. Mostly spent the whole time jaw-japping about how we shouldn't have been up there and how awful all of this was, and just generally being a nuisance. So I'm absolutely not surprised to see him here, although I'm sure his father will be rather intrigued to learn of his activities.
Are we going to get in trouble if we arrest him?
Well, maybe best not to publicize the arrest.
Oh, I see.
We'll let
Let
more.
his father deal with it? Is his father anyone important?
I presume
Do I know
so.
what his? Do I know if his father got promoted at all?
Yeah, so you knew
Since-
him about 4 years ago, and he was a tribunus, which is already like third. So he's already gone up 3 ranks in the ranking system of officers. So nowadays, just based off seniority, he's probably a proconsul, same rank as the governor.
His father. His
Mhm.
father.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably a proconsul by now. I
Jesus.
wouldn't know where, but yes. So that's a proconsul's son.
Well, let's treat him
Most
kindly
likely.
because I'm sure the charges might stick for others, but that's a boy with a lot of power behind him. We want to
Yes.
deal with this tactfully.
Did I personally meet his father at all?
Yeah, many times. He was your civilian liaison, so he got you guys. He was like a quartermaster as well as like he'd deal with ASUs, civilian.
For how long?
About a year.
And did I ever talk to him about Did it seem like the boy takes after his father, or went in a completely different direction?
No, he was like the rebellious teenager. Didn't nothing like that.
Oh, okay. Well, I know his father wouldn't be particularly supportive of this. It'd be best to tread a bit more lightly than what we were thinking. Maybe.
Yeah, you guys hear creaking stairs as someone begins to climb the steps to you guys' sitting room, and you see the top of Cicero's bald head poke out. See the rest of his smiling face, and he says, "Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
Has the job been concluded?"
No, not yet. But we've got a good lead.
Good news.
Yes.
Always lovely
This
to
may
hear.
actually be going somewhere.
Really? I mean, that's wonderful. That's good to hear. Can I speak with you for a moment?
Of course, Father, yes. And I'll get up and walk over.
Yeah, when it's just you and him pretty close, like standing pretty close together, he says in Fermentari. So, between you and I, when you were with the Consul Miller, said anything you suspect is to the Empire?
Not directly to us, but there is something I know that might question it.
Raises an eyebrow.
When I was spying, he had a meeting with several of the other, with several of the, what are they? The leaders of each
Centurions?
Centurions of the forts to plot to sacrifice for Romulus so that they could achieve a victory on the Deadwood themselves.
He nods. Alright. And then he switches back to common and speaks a bit more loudly now. So, do any of you need help with this investigation of yours? If it's a promising lead, I could perhaps lend my ear.
I'd have a little question in private, if I may.
Right? And he sort of walks away from Zednius and walks over to Severus, a little bit away from the group, and says, well?
I'll send Frummentari. Did the Frummentari currently need any funds?
Why?
The job we did today. We found out that the thing the guy used to chain up the elementals, authentic runic chains from dwarven history. Hasn't been anyone who can make these since. They're extremely valuable, and they're still a few from under his bed without anyone knowing except for us.
Who's the current legal owner of them?
The dead man who committed the crime of having an elemental go on a rampage, but
Did he have a
because
wife?
he kept it below his
Kids?
bed, he does have a wife.
Severus. I appreciate your zealousness to serve the Emperor, but it's our property, it's our property.
Well, it's technically an answer to the crime, so I thought maybe we could... I don't know.
Severus,
I'm not a judge.
discretion is useful in stealing immense valuables from a show. If it got back to anyone in Mythos, that's the type of things that could rear end over.
I just wanted to serve the Empire.
I understand. You're doing good, boy.
Boy.
Pats you on the shoulder. And sort of sits down on one of the tables in the sitting room alongside the rest of you guys and says, so, you said it's an actual lead. Believe the governor's involved?
Well,
I'm not sure, but there are some people of interest.
someone important is.
Well?
Do you recognize the name? One second.
Longinus, something Valerian.
Yeah, sorry, Longinus. I'm trying to find Longinus
Gaius
Galenus Bologna.
Biggest Dickus?
His father a proconsul yet?
Yes. His father's currently stationed out on the plains. He has his own legion now.
Well, you wouldn't
does
believe
he?
who the head of the Republican group at the coffee shop was today.
Yes, it's his insufferable son.
Indeed.
But that's not the important person. Evidently, they're having a gathering of some kind in the ruins tonight. There's going
A
to be
party.
a guest speaker.
Yes, one of the priests in training, I believe, from the southern area of Ravinium.
What? You said it was someone from one of the ministries.
Yeah,
A theologian.
yeah.
How do you pronounce it?
Theologian.
Theologian.
Maybe that was
yeah,
it.
I mean,
I don't know.
Cicero
Mixed
just
up a
nods
little
at that
bit.
and says, is this group anything more than a social club?
We're not sure yet.
Alright, well. Between you and I, if you find evidence that they're actually plotting a concrete overthrow, bag them, regardless of their seniority. But if they're just a bunch of kids thinking about wild ideas in private and getting drunk, it's not really our problem. Find something this. There is another
Alright.
matter that's been coming up, but we'll wait until you're
good
done with
lord.
this. This is one from me.
Alright. Well, I suppose we have to be in the city for 3 more days anyway.
What for?
Some of the chain he was talking about. Oh, sorry, I guess I don't know
Yeah.
that. Never mind. We got this old dwarven mithril chain. Guy was using the chain to hold the air elemental in. Evidently, it's quite valuable. One of the Smiths is pooling a bunch of the Smith's Guild resources so that he can buy it off of us for the historical value.
Alright then. Well,
So we need to be in town for that.
sounds alright then. Good luck with your infiltration, and remember if they're actually plotting something, is textbook tyranny. Anything and everything is open, regardless of.
All right then.
Enoch stands up and says, "Well, I trust you to all serve the Empire, and I know that the servant is trying to find a moment of the Senator's time, but he's very intoxicated at the moment. I'm not sure he'd be much use to you."
Your Vinium Red is very, very good. I understand.
I must say I'm not exactly from here, but I can certainly see why someone would want to spend their life here. Gives you all a friendly wave and heads down the stairs.
All right. Well, I say that you two infiltrate that. Have like Het Hagal fluttering around one of us, and if they do start to talk of things tyrannical, we'll go in there and nab them, and if they don't, we'll leave them be, provided the guest speaker isn't someone particularly important.
Of course, of
I
course.
nod.
All right then. Sounds good.
And what will you, fine gentlemen, be doing this evening? Just hiding out and lurking in bushes?
Oh, I suppose.
Well,
Not much else to be done.
how will you entertain yourselves?
I was in the army. You think I can't entertain myself for a few hours doing nothing?
Well,
point.
only if you're unobserved.
What does that
Besides,
mean?
I can have wonderful discussions with this one about what constitutes a crime or not.
I'm sorry, I was out of bounds, Maximus.
Oh, I'm just giving you a hard time. Not actually a big deal. Sorry, I thought that was clear.
All right.
Anywho,
Well, Maximus, Severus, Lars, 3 of you guys are going to make your way to the old ruins, find some bushes to camp out, and then 2 of you guys are going to head to that. This is in a couple hours, but in the meantime, I said I was going to talk about the old ruins later, because it's actually a very dark chapter of Ravinium's history. Ravinium had an old city. It was what you think when you think like a classic medieval town like London, you know, it's like that incredibly dense, disgusting streets. Like this had been the foundation of Ravinium since the city was established hundreds of years ago. And then the plague came, and the buildings in old Ravinium were packed so tightly together that in the span of about 2 days, the entire section of the old city was afflicted with the disease. And Consul Militum Galenus, who commanded the entire southern front, declared martial law in the city. Rather than risk the disease from the old city spreading, he destroyed the entire thing. He set light to the exterior buildings, and then the fire began to spread inward, and when people tried to flee the old town, they were cut down where they stood and killed by wizards from afar so they couldn't spread the disease. About 2,000 people were killed, all the buildings were burned to the ground, and it has been under order of the Emperor directly. It has been ordered nothing can be rebuilt in that area for a period of 10 years.
Why? Is it specifically for like plague purposes?
Yes,
or?
there is a very small concern that there may be some people, either corpses like in the ruins that would still be able to carry the disease. There's concern that if there was foot traffic allowed, the necromancers could have a field day because the bodies were not buried. The area was just obliterated by the legions, and then it was just left to.
Got it. So this is like a creepy fucking area that we're going
Yeah,
into.
100%. About 1,000 people were killed there. Lots of them women
I'm
and
gonna
children.
assume that you're not allowed to go in there.
I mean, there's no wall around it, but yeah, I mean, it's under it's quarantined under
Probably
imperial
not.
decree, so yeah, you're not supposed to go.
Yeah.
If these
I'm
guys
going
hate
to
the
run
game,
and
so who
pee. I
cares?
will be right back.
Aren't they listening?
True, Dota, true. Jeez. So, you guys can enjoy the offerings of the senator's estate while you guys wait for night to fall. Dota, you've been spending a lot of quality time for the last 2-3 days. You been enjoying it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
man, a few words.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
what level and what ascendancy right now?
BOE. So you guys head outside as it's starting to get late. Sun's starting to dip low on the horizon. All that's left is to go to the city. And Esme has told you what has happened to this place, are the rumors of ghosts and wailing spectral babies being heard. And my question is, how close, so you guys don't know exactly where the meeting spot is, but the old city, as mentioned before, is very small. It's like literally 4x4 square blocks, not that big. So, are you guys going to be outside of it, or Maximus, Lars, and Severus, you guys are going to try to go inside and find a post up in?
Can we be within the 100 feet? Still,
I think a
Be
block
outside
is a
of it?
little bit longer than 100 feet. So if you want to be within 100 feet, no matter where you are, then you'd have to get closer. You'd have to be like less than half a block.
Okay, yeah, let's post up in one of the ruined buildings. I don't anticipate anyone going in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the party is in a couple hours because they said to be after sundown. So you guys have some time to post up, and you guys make your way along Main Street, and the Main Street ends at the old city. And sure enough, there's just this line. There's like this street now. It's about 6 feet by 6 feet wide. So it's not a particularly large street that just encircles the old city. And then there's just desolation, crusted old buildings that have fallen over on themselves. This whole thing happened about 3-4 years ago, so most of the wood has rotted away, but some structures, especially the stone ones, are still partially standing. And no, like, people are just going about their daily business, and none of them even look towards the ruins. It's just they act like they aren't even there. So you guys don't know exactly where the meeting is going to be, so how are you going to set up with it?
Is there a central gathering? Is there like I forget what they're called.
Like
an
forum or a
an
plaza?
amphitheater? Like an
Yeah,
like
you guys
that.
have never been here before, so you can head into the ruins and start looking around, pre-scouting locations. And as you guys are doing so, dusk is just very barely beginning. And it gets quiet here. I mean, you're only a couple blocks away, so you still hear the shouts of vendors and people going about their daily business, but it's not this omnipresent, like, sounds of humanity around you at all times. And as you guys are walking, you hear a scream.
Whoa.
Sounds like a woman.
What kind of
Just this
scream?
shrill scream from a woman at the top of her lungs. And you look around, and it seems to be coming from a burned down building. The building is totally collapsed in on itself. It's most of the wood is rotted and like falling apart, but there is still sort of like a rough door frame and first floor kind of intact.
Yeah, I'm gonna just immediately start running towards it.
All right,
Same.
you begin to sprint forward. Severus is sprinting. Lars, are you going with them towards the scream?
Nope.
No, you're staying on the road. Holy. Okay. All right. As you approach the ruined house, Maximus, you hear a voice saying, "My baby, my baby."
Oh my god.
What are you doing, Maximus?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Oh
run in.
no.
Yeah, I mean, so you push your way through the
Not
doorway,
this
and
again.
the first floor is just totally like destroyed. The second floor has collapsed down onto the first floor.
Wait, is it like what kind of screams is it? Like at the top of her lungs could be anything, right?
Yeah, it's just a shrill scream.
I'm
Like
sorry.
is she
Wasn't
panicking?
Maximus here for this?
What?
Yeah.
Oh god.
I personally don't remember.
This
Yeah,
is,
you head
like-
into the first floor of this building, and you
I don't
see
know
that
the
there
case
is
in
like
this.
ruined, burnt wood all around you. And from behind what maybe would have once been a couch, but it's hard to say, you hear just like sobbing, just like earth, like body racking sobs. That you don't see anything like from your current angle. It's still tilted over.
Hello?
The sobbing sort of stops.
Are you hurt? I'm gonna wander. I'm gonna wander behind the couch.
Yeah,
You
there's
do
nothing there.
Hmm.
You see Severus
I'm
in the
gonna
doorway.
I'm gonna slowly back out of the doorway
Yeah,
while
you
not
start to
turning
walk
my
out of the
back
room.
to the rest of the room.
Yeah, you keep looking towards the room.
Put a hand on my sword hilt.
Still silent. No noise.
Slowly just back out.
Exit the room. You and Severus make your way back out on the road. Lars is just there with Gore looking at you.
What was that
Lars,
all
I'm
about?
getting a really weird sense of deja vu for some reason.
Right. Well, maybe you can take those feelings after the mission, but we got something to do.
What? Well, you know what deja vu means, Lars?
Sure.
Giga Chad doesn't know what a word means,
something-
tells you to fuck off.
Something feels familiar about this whole thing. Some woman screaming about her baby.
So
No,
my
nothing.
statement does apply.
All right then.
Yeah, you guys continue forward. You've gone through about half of the area now. You found many burned buildings, but nothing that would even begin to qualify as like a spot to hang out. I mean, these are all like rotted, condemned buildings. The chance of you like stepping on a floorboard and your whole body going through down to the basement level is insanely high. So there's no way that people are doing gatherings here. And as you guys are moving along the
No.
street, you're moving through a sort of tight, narrow corridor between two buildings. The stone sort of structure on your right that's... Damn.
Oh
Hello?
my goodness.
My Discord just restarted.
Alex?
Hello? Is it working?
Hi.
Arcana hates us.
Wait, hello?
Hi, I hear you.
Oh,
I can hear
okay.
you.
That was really weird. Okay,
was
all right. Yeah, my
That
Discord
was
restarted
pretty
for no
funny.
reason. Where did I cut off?
We were
Something
going down the
walking-
street.
Okay, yeah. So you're walking through a narrow corridor. To your right is a fully intact stone building. The stone seems to have not really collapsed under the heat of the building is burning. To your left is a collapsed wooden structure. As you guys are moving through this narrow alleyway, Lars, you're near the back of the group, and you watch Gore's like he goes from very calm to instantly alert. His ears prick up, his whole head turns behind you, and he barks towards one of the sort of open window slots in this stone building. And you hear a man's voice. He doesn't seem like he's talking to you, but more so talking in general. He says, "Please, I'm not infected. Please."
This shit's haunted.
Lars heard the explanation of this area earlier, didn't he?
Yep.
He's just gonna kind of like pat Gore on the side to try to get him to calm down.
Yeah, Gore barks again in the direction of the house. And at this point, because of Gore barking, Severus and Maximus, both of your attentions are drawn towards Gore barking towards this sort of burned out stone structure.
Do you see something?
I'm gonna guess this has something to do with you guys encountered earlier. Same kind of screaming and yelling.
Oh wow, you hear something?
Yeah, Gore. Something's
Huh.
putting him off. Not a normal human would do that.
After a few
That's
more
weird.
moments, you see Gore's echoes lower, and he looks around. He looks confused.
Huh. I've never seen
Lars
him
is
look
just
like
gonna,
that.
Console him to like try to calm him down.
Yeah, he's calm. He just looks really...
Poor baby.
Yeah, I say we find somewhere to post up faster than
Definitely
this.
something weird going on here.
Yeah, maybe with the people it'll go away.
Yeah, you guys continue to search, and soon enough, you got it. It's actually not that hard. Once you saw it, you're like, oh, obviously this is a spot. Because it's a warehouse that had a stone foundation and a stone first level with a wooden upper level. Wooden upper level,
Ah.
gone, annihilated in the flames. But the floor is a large stone slab. The walls are stone slabs, so the entire majority of this warehouse is just fine. Like, it's literally totally intact. It wouldn't give you much cover from winter, but it almost looks like an amphitheater in the way that some of the scorched stone has survived. It's huge, big enough to fit a party, and luckily for you, there is a burned out building nearby. Now that building, unlike the warehouse, is not really going to be the most structurally stable thing. There's like every piece of wood on that structure is scorched or rotting, but it is within 100 feet of the warehouse. It's the only structure within it.
Sure. We'll post up there.
All right, so you head into the first floor of this burned out house. First floor is kind of intact. You can even guess what would have once been furniture. And there is a stairwell to the second floor. There's also a stairwell down into the basement.
Best to avoid those two places.
Okay, so you just go to what would have once been the living room and like push aside the burned, rotted furniture.
Whatever is still there, Lars will try to like make a seat for himself and kick his legs up. And,
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
you-
console
you-
Gore.
You put your bottom on like a rotting, like obliterated, burned out couch, and then you put your feet onto what may have once been like a dresser or something that's now been tipped over on its side, and Gore sits down next to you.
I'll feed him some of the extra ribs that I kept. That he
Yeah,
didn't
as
eat
you go to
before.
feed him, you see his hackles raise again. He looks around the house, and for a second, it seems like he's in that sort of probing stage. Like he knows something is up, but he can't find where it is. And then you see his head sort of zero in on the stairwell leading down to the basement, and he begins to growl.
Looks
see
like
him
we
do
might
this?
have company.
Yep, everyone sees it.
I'm not going down there.
You hear two muffled
Yep.
voices beneath you. No, they won't find us down here. They can't. I mean, they're not going to go door to door. And the voice sort of fades. Or continues to growl.
Whatever it is can come up here and scare us. I ain't going down there.
You hear another muffled
Hey,
voice.
Dad.
What is that noise? It almost sounds like something's burning.
Ooh.
It was
You
the
have to
hounds of
run in
hell.
with,
This is weird. This is
after
odd.
running with the Undead City, I think this isn't that confusing for us to figure out what it is.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
unnerving, you know?
And then you hear two horribly pain screams beneath you. They go on for maybe 10 seconds. Gore begins to bark at full volume down at the basement, but as the screams trail off, Gore begins to calm down.
You two ever heard anyone burning alive before?
Can't say I have.
That's what it sounded like, in case you were wondering. That. I'm just gonna have the 1,000-yard stare until something happens.
Yeah, the house sort of stays quiet a bit. And Maximus, in a different place entirely, Zednius and Renesmee, you guys are getting all dolled up for your meeting, you know? You guys are getting on your fine clothes, and you're taking a shower, and, you know, you're getting jazzy.
Putting on my red lipstick.
Yeah, exactly. And the two of you guys can exit the house of the senator and begin to make your way down towards the burned out ruins in the heart of the city. Renesmee, as a kid, you were smart enough not to go in here. As a teenager, though, you definitely, I think most teenagers in the city would come here at some point. Yeah, and it's just creepy as fuck. As you said, it is a known to be haunted place. There are rumors and stuff that people have disappeared in here and gotten killed, but you never knew anyone that happened. They just heard and saw weird shit. It's one of the first times you ever had an encounter with anything even remotely magical. Or a dead Woody.
Really?
Yeah.
So no way, because I was kidnapped like really young, no?
Yeah, sure. Even as a kid, though, this would probably still be your first encounter.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen like spirits just walking around the ruins just before burning alive, like just going around their daily routine. You've seen people on the brink of the moment when the flames began to consume them, but there is no flame, obviously. It's a pretty fucked up place. But you and Zednius head through the sort of walk into the old ruins, and you hear the sounds.
I warn him.
Yeah. What do you tell him?
Okay, Zednius, we're going to the old ruins. I explained to him the history of the ruins. Basically, a bunch of years ago, this place was burned down because there was a plague. Whole city just quarantined off, burned. Anyone who tried to escape was killed. Naturally, it's haunted as fuck. So, you're probably gonna see some really creepy stuff. Just stay behind me and follow my lead. All right?
I'll have my dagger, but I don't.
You can't kill ghosts, sweetheart.
I mean, we
Damn.
killed ghosts.
I know, but
Wait,
just
that's a great
stay behind
point,
me.
actually.
Yeah. The two of you guys begin to walk down the street, arm in arm, you know, pals, headed to the social gathering. It's a very foreboding spot to pick a meeting about the flaws of the Empire, because you're standing in a monument of them. 2,000 people were burned alive here, most of whom were not infected. And you continue to walk along
the monument, but
I would. And heading down the main thoroughfare, you guys are lucky. You encounter nothing during your brief walk. And you hear the sounds of the party long before you actually get there. You hear people laughing and drinking, and you can even see little wisps of smoke rising from the like burned out warehouse top, probably from fire moss or whatever other drugs they managed to obtain. And heading around to the front entrance of the warehouse, you guys can, well, one, Zednius, you feel connected to Het Hagal instantly because you're within a minute. Secondly, you guys can see in that there's a group of about 16 other students within the area.
Does fire moss smell like something?
Fire moss smells like burnt
Like,
flesh.
does it have a distinct smell?
Yeah, it smells like burnt
I
flesh.
smell the burning flesh. Yeah.
Ah,
It's a
smells like
horrific
fire
smell.
moss here.
Although, how do you know if that's just like the fire moss or just the weird
Oh god,
burned
true.
people city smells?
Oh god.
But we didn't hear anything.
You didn't hear. Yeah, you didn't have any hallucinations or
Okay.
ghosts or
He
anything.
probably thinks I'm dramatic as fuck now.
True.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, as you guys approach, you'll see Longina sort of breaks up from the two people he's talking to and walks over and says, I'll be honest, I wasn't sure that you'd come.
Why?
Well, the ruins scare some people away.
Not me.
I
Or
can
him.
see that. Or, yes, also him. Well, our guest speaker should be getting here pretty soon. It's a pretty foreboding environment, isn't it?
Pretty creepy, yeah. Especially considering the history of the place.
I think
Obviously,
actually our
fire
guest
moss in the
speaker
air.
he looks back and says, "Yeah, I don't know how you guys are like, but if you'd like to partake, Judius brought some stuff from his dad's cabinet. Got some booze, got some fire moss, got some weird shit from the city-state, got some orphan's tears as well from the mountains."
Orphan's tears.
What are
is
orphan's
that?
tears?
Orphan's tears is the street name for morphine.
Oh. What do you recommend?
He sort of leans back and says, "Oh, I don't do any of that stuff."
Ah.
So
You're
who do we talk
straight
to
edge.
for that?
He says, points back and points at a guy who you can see is literally, he looks like the fucking merchant from Resident Evil 4. He's just doling shit out of his coat to the people around him, handing out a fire moss here, a bottle of alcohol there.
Zednius is more explorative.
Yeah,
I
I'll
haven't
walk
dabbled
away.
too much.
So you
But
just walk away mid-conversation and Longinus watches him go and says, "All
Jesus,
right,
there he
then."
goes.
I can understand it. As I told you before, it's kind of a social club, you don't have to be the most fervent revolutionary if you just want to hang out with some friends. No problem with that.
That might be his boat. But I am here, on the other hand, to truly absorb the lesson of our guest speaker. I'm very excited to sit in my first meeting or party with you guys, so I'm very excited.
Of course. And he'll take you to the main group. He'll introduce you to some other people. And you guys just begin to socialize. Zednius, how zonked
What
you
the
gonna get?
fuck are you doing?
Yeah, how
I
zonked
want
you
to
gonna
get
get,
zonked
man?
I'm
too.
trying to. Look, I'm like a church boy. I haven't got to do any of this party
It's true.
stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
Yeah, true.
yeah.
Me either.
Has a stick up his ass all the time. I just want
Sure.
to let loose,
Okay, well, they have
Me
fire
too,
moss.
Turn
me too.
some
I want to
morphine.
find him.
They have fire
I
moss,
was trying to
artemis,
get some heroin.
something called hellflake, orphan's tears, pipeweed, canard. Basically, if you want, you can totally break your fucking brain and just be totally incapacitated. I don't know how hard Zednius wants to commit to this.
Roll
I have a
for
question.
overdose.
Jesus Christ.
If I want to have a come to God moment,
Oh my god.
what do
does
I
that mean?
take?
No, now's the time, but I think you can talk to
You
Dudius,
can
who
pick some
brought the
up.
stuff, and he'll say, actually, yeah, I think the two of you guys have been taking some of
Yeah.
the normal stuff, fire moss, which hurts like a bitch because you're just burning your flesh off.
Nice.
And it's just you guys and Dudius, sort of in the corner, and he says, "All right, you want to fuck up your brain? Hellflake. I've seen guys literally go crazy permanently after this.
Oh.
One dose, twist your whole fucking brain. Imagine listening to this guest speaker when your mind is on another plane of existence, This shit will transport you into the realm of souls, man."
Oh man.
Oh no!
How do you?
Yeah, give me some of that.
Yeah, I want some of that.
I
man,
hope you
alright.
guys have some backup
I-
characters.
Yeah,
I
y'all
take
better
that.
hope it. Y'all better hope it
Wait.
doesn't actually take you to the realm of souls.
Oh my god! Wait, but I want to take it and I want to put
Time
it
to
in my
literally sell your soul.
pocket for later.
All right, so yeah, he produces two tiny, a standard fire moss dose is an eighth of an ounce.
Is Resume not taking anything? Is she my babysitter?
seems
No,
like-
I'm partaking in the small stuff. I did a little fire moss. I still want to try that blue stuff you have in your pocket, but the fire flame thing. When I hear that, I'm
Hellflake,
like,
yeah.
Hellflake. I'm like, this will come in very handy,
Yeah,
maybe
just feed
for
it to
later,
Nikki.
but
Yeah, sure. So he produces
not for
Oh
now.
my god!
three
that
tiny.
Would...
He produces three tiny little dried leaves. He says, "Works pretty similar to fire moss, but if you want a lessened effect, make it into a tea. But be careful around that stuff. As I said, I had a buddy, grabbed a knife, thought his girlfriend was a demon come to kill him.
How did you
Was
even
she?
get this stuff?
Well, my
Well, I
dad's
guess-
very connected. It is what it is."
Jesus Christ. Well, we'll be taking down your name after this.
He gives a nod, and then he sort of pauses, and you notice that everyone else has paused as well. They're looking towards the entrance to the warehouse. There's a figure there, and people are sort of pausing because the figure's just standing there. They're not walking into the warehouse. They're standing on the edge, and you can just see this sort of silhouette. And you hear Longinus's voice say, "Hello? Father Tritnax. Then you see the figure walk forward, and the lights of various torches and sort of things that people have used to light the warehouse make the figure visible. It is a burn victim. Every single inch of their flesh is currently drooping off their body. Not as if they've been burned in the past, but as if they're still currently burning. The skin makes these long, sort of stringy sheets that fall off the body. The eyes melt in their sockets, sort of drooping out onto the chin. And instantly screams erupt from half the people as they move backwards away from this horrific specter of the past. But one or two people stay forward and just stare at this thing, knowing that it's probably an illusion and can't hurt them.
Yeah, I'm staring.
Yeah. The creature thing, Vision, continues to walk forward. One leg gives out, splats onto the ground. The skin begins to stick to the floor underneath it, peeling off further until only muscle is visible underneath, and then the vision just sort of fades to the ground. It's silent. And someone says, well, yes, that's why we came to the ruins, right? And some people nervously sort of chuckle, and the vibe does not recover from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I turn to the dude and be like, anyways, well, Marcus, that's your first taste of ghosts in this city. The flame leaf. What did you say it was? Hellflake, yes.
What do I've taken a dose of Artemis. What's happening to me?
Artemis, you feel euphoric, you feel invincible, you feel like you're got a lot of energy.
Oh man, I wish that ghost would come back. I'd fucked up.
The guy across from you chuckles and says, yeah, you probably would. I will say, though, I've seen someone die to a ghost before. Here.
Die to a ghost?
Hell yeah, 100%.
With your own eyes?
With my own eyes, yep.
How'd he die? Come on.
It was a she. Me and my grandma.
What kind
right?
of ghost?
We wanted to make a quick cut through the ruins to go to
Uh-huh.
She saw a ghost. It said her name. Heart attack on the spot. Rip dead, done.
All right. But that's your grandma dying to your grandma. It's not like the ghost, killing your grandma.
It frightened her to death.
Okay, that's fair.
You ever seen a banshee?
Banshee?
Yeah, man.
Like a screaming
It's like
wolf?
a goat. It's like a goat. Okay. So the
it's a
Artemis thing.
So,
all right?
Yeah, Renez begins to explain this.
You should have seen us fight this thing.
Did she just say goat?
Yeah, she did.
I thought that a banshee
Wait a
was
minute.
a goat until a few seconds.
Oh wait,
ago.
Zendius, what were you saying about fighting this thing?
Yeah, we fucked up that banshee, dude.
The guy across from you says, "You fought a banshee where?"
He's just high. Don't listen to him.
Yeah, all right, man. And about halfway, 10 minutes later, another figure appears, but this one walks forward, and Longinus goes out to meet him. They're sort of on the edge of where the illumination provides. They shake hands, chat a little bit. Then he comes into the space, and most people sort of pause what they're doing. And he is a man in the Almighty's robes, which are black robes with gold trim. He has a golden holy symbol of the Almighty hanging from his neck. He has a well-maintained beard, bald head, golden glowing eyes, which sort of illuminates a part of the warehouse. It says, "Well, children of the Almighty, welcome." So some people sort of clap and cheer and stuff. Says, "I think I'm here to give you all a talk about the sins of the Verusian Creed." People sort of begin to gather around, and he sort of clears his throat once everyone's sort of gathered in front of him. He says, "The reason why it's here, we're doing it here, is because this is an example of what happens when the Empire goes unchecked. There is no check for the Emperor's power. An imperial decree is all that it takes for something like this to happen. 2,000 people. Every person you know, every person they know and they know and they know, burned alive in a single evening. It didn't work. The disease still spread. It became a global phenomenon. Millions died. And yet, these 2,000 could have lived. Perhaps not all of them, but at least some. The Verusian Creed is what allowed that to happen. It said the Emperor is the Almighty himself, beyond reproach, unquestioning in his might. That's not always what the Church was. Before the Light Wars, we believed that the Almighty spoke to us, not through the Emperor, but through his many clerics on Earth. and then our order was broken, and the Emperor's reigned. And he will go on a pretty lengthy speech about, how the church was essentially deconstructed institution by institution and then eventually obliterated entirely before being reformed into the new imperial church, which just rubber stamps whatever the emperor says. And it is like the most textbook heresy you've heard in your entire life. He's saying the saints were something totally different than how they're venerated now. He's saying that every religious figure you've ever heard of had a totally different belief than they're currently painted as. He basically says every bit of religious law, especially you, Zetnius, every bit of religious law you've ever consumed is fundamentally flawed and only exists to support the rule of the emperors. And during this lengthy speech, I believe it was your guys' plan to crack down on this. So are you using
What do we do about it, man?
I don't know. You're going with Hetal, and you got 3 lads in a nearby building, so...
To the fucking guy that's telling me the world is a lie.
No, I pull on Zetnius' shoulder. Marcus!
Come on, I want to know. Aren't you curious?
I am curious, but come on. Just be chill. Be chill. Listen, what did you take? No,
take this. You need to lighten up.
What is it?
It's the blue stuff. You said you wanted to try it. I heard you.
How do you take it?
Oh my fucking god. This was a terrible idea. Why did we think sending 2 young people in here would...
Well, so you guys are in a nearby building, and you hear the speech having started.
Like agents are getting fucking high.
Wait, I want to smoke it, just to be clear.
Yeah, you just burn it between Artemis.
I burn it between my fingers.
How long does the high last?
Hours, 6 to 8 hours.
Okay, so I'm fucked. I'm out of commission.
If I hear the speech like starting for
that's
15
what I was gonna
minutes
say.
or
So
something, I imagine we can't hear the words, right?
Yeah, you guys have been hearing. So you guys have been hearing partying for some time. And then you hear screams, and that's probably like when you stand up, weapons ready. But then you hear laughing a little bit afterward, like maybe 30 seconds, 10 seconds afterward, and then you just wait, and then it gets quiet again, and you hear just one singular voice, and Metagal begins to roll on Severus's shoulder and say, "Broken mind."
Metagal, I know you're around here. What's going on?
Mind influenced.
Can I hear that?
Yeah, he's talking out loud, like completely to the whole room.
Like,
what do you mean?
What, is Zetnius in trouble?
Like someone attacked them?
Hetal says, "No. Boss."
Frogs.
Good fucking Christ. Alright. Let's go. They'll stand up.
Lars, I assume you're getting your fist-ready dog on the loose.
Yeah.
Time to beat some people up.
Get those ready, Lars.
All right, you guys
Dad
stand
and
up.
I, what are we doing?
You guys are just listening to the speech.
Of the world, okay? We're invincible, Renesmee.
We're invincible, Zetnius.
Oh, guys are so good.
So you move
We
forward.
were by the deadwood. We could go in there.
Well, I'll say
Sure.
let's pause at the doorway and at least hear if we just need to get them out or if we actually need to arrest whoever's in there.
All right. So Maximus,
Oh, we
Severus,
both.
Lars, and Hetal begin to creep
that's
forward.
actually a good idea. We're not very quiet.
You guys press yourself against the edge of the wall, large stone wall. You
Is
can
there
hear
a-
the word. What?
Is there a big ceiling over us?
No.
Oh my god.
What?
You can begin to hear the words of the speech now, Maximus. You can hear the most vile, like, for the people listening, they at least got worked up to the stuff he's saying now. You're just coming in raw halfway through the speech, hearing the most insane heresy you've heard in your entire life. He's like degrading every religious official.
It's gonna take maybe 15 seconds of that for me to make up my mind.
yeah, you hear him saying...
I hear 15 seconds.
Yeah, you hear him talking about the Cardinals are evil.
I hear like
and-
one sentence, and I'm sprinting in
right,
with short sword,
right through the door.
dagger drawn.
Right through the door.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys begin to move towards the front of the warehouse. And now you are going to have to make a... I know
I'm sprinting.
Oh, you're not even trying to
Yeah,
be
I don't
stealthy.
care about being stealthy anymore.
Okay. So you guys enter into the warehouse, like through the massive gaping front entrance, like it's just an open edifice because it's all been burned down. And you guys you step in, and the second you sort of move into that area, people in the crowd can see you. Most of them are on drugs, though, so you may be lucky here. We will see.
As soon as I enter, I'm immediately sprinting for the cleric.
All right, we're going to roll into initiative because someone in the crowd says, "Wait, who's that?" And that is where we're going to roll into initiative for you,
Oh
Oh,
God.
so exciting. Zednius and I are about to
it
fuck
normal
these
that I'm-
judges up!
I can't
I'm
select my
kidding.
token.
Why not?
We're not on a
Is
map.
this your map right now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
we're
no
not. Your
token.
token should be right here.
We
Oh,
can't
I
click it.
We can't
We
select
can't
them.
click
Oh, I
those.
thought this is like an actual token. Okay.
I did too.
Yeah,
We can't. No, we can only. I can only move Hegel. Everybody
Oh.
else is a static.
Ah,
thing.
now I can move the very small servers.
Yeah, just roll initiative with small separate.
I need to make a
Small
fucking map
Zen.
first.
Oh my god, they changed the UI for fucking tokens.
Eh?
Yeah, they did. Alright. Yeah, and then I just need to
Oh, yeah,
pull
that's-
in
Oh God damn it! No, that's not one of the. That's not one of the initiatives we want.
1 second.
Yeah, actually
Oh,
fighting
no.
this. I'm confused. They didn't have weapons on them.
Well, we're not going to be
Probably
fighting
has
our
player
judges,
ability.
surely.
Wait, that's based. None of them had any weapons.
Time to slaughter some innocents.
There wasn't
Hey!
Actually, it's
Give them
based.
kids,
Oh,
let's
wait,
go.
it's Claire. No.
Alright, Zednius,
Wait a
you're in the
minute.
What do you
crowd
mean?
and you see
He's literally a heretic, okay?
So you're in the crowd, Zednius,
wait,
and you
that's right,
see
yeah,
three
actually,
people
just
emerge from
heretical.
behind a stone wall, sprinting into the warehouse, and it takes you half a second to be like, wait, what's happening? And then you see Severus.
Whoa! It's Severus.
Severus? What? Oh, fuck!
They're fighting.
Wait, we didn't tell Heckel to go get them!
Run over to the cleric.
Yes.
Yeah,
My God.
you
Ah,
you run out of the crowd towards the cleric. What are you doing?
I'm just like, oh my God, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah, I mean,
Marcus!
the students,
Marcus, get down here right now!
the students begin to scatter. Lars, what are you
Oh
doing?
my god. Oscar tier acting.
True.
From the entrance that we came from, is there other exits? It looks like.
Yeah, basically, since it's a burned out warehouse, almost anything is like, the front and the back are like
Technically an
totally
exit.
open, and the
Yeah.
walls are very porous.
Everything is an exit.
Yeah, basically.
I'm within like 60 feet of this cleric, right?
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna have Gore like full sprint to like take down the cleric, not like kill him or anything, but like
Okay,
to,
what's his maximum
jump.
movement speed? Because the cleric's about 120.
that might be maybe even more. Hold on.
What kind of dog is he?
It's
War dog.
Doberman. Yeah. I know 40 feet, so he can get
What
80.
does it mean?
All right, so he begins to like sprint full speed, towards the cleric, barking, growling, roaring practically as he moves forward.
That was after I like whistled and pointed at the cleric from.
Yep, and I assume you're running forward as well.
Yep.
Alrighty, Renesmee, Zednius has exited the crowd, is now near the cleric, saying like, "We have to run, we have to run."
I would like to run up to Zednius and be like, Marcus, it's probably people coming to arrest us. We need to fucking
Yeah,
run.
run.
Like us. Now. And can I pull him with me?
Yeah, as your action, you can make a strength check to like grab his arm and start pulling him with you.
Yeah,
I
sure,
want
I'll
to
do
resist.
that.
Isn't
Yeah,
Renee
sure.
kind
I'm
of
resisting.
like really strong?
Yeah.
I think she
I
is.
think
Yeah,
I
she's like
might.
jacked as fuck.
What?
How do
the
I
fuck?
strength check?
Are you like a different mic?
Yes,
Just
I
click
am.
strength.
Yeah, I did.
There you go.
It's like you're
Strength.
talking
Cool.
over an hour
He's
traffic
underwater.
control, like thing. It's really
Easy.
muffled. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like-
Zednius resists your grasp
Check,
despite you
check,
being
check.
stronger than
Come in,
him.
please.
Really?
Yeah, got a
Damn.
15.
Oh, so we matched.
No, you got a 9
You didn't have
How come
advantage.
he gets a 15 and I get a 9?
because we just take the first number.
Yes.
Oh,
That's why there's
how it
people in
works.
here that use the thing where you toggle, so you don't always roll with an
There are
advantage.
people in here that do that. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Do that.
Marcus, come on. We have to run.
All right, Maximus, it's your turn. You're on horseback. Actually, wait. There's no way you could be on horseback. How would you hide
No, I
Mickey?
didn't. Yeah, I didn't. I
do you
didn't
mean,
think
it's
I
a
was. I
ruin?
wasn't.
Yeah, I
I
had to
was
think about
entering
that
this
for
on
a
the
second.
assumption that I was.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, you're on foot.
Yeah. I'm going to just book it towards the cleric as fast as humanly possible.
Okay, you're keeping pace with Lars then.
Okay, and
Severus.
then I'll
Oh.
shout. I'll shout out. Oh, I was going to shout something as well.
Yeah, sure. What's up?
Zednius, Renesmee, back now.
The
Okay.
whole point was not to give their cover out.
Lower the cover.
Hey, he doesn't care
It's
anymore.
a bit- it's-
Severus, what are you doing?
Well,
Too late for
it's
that.
also just
Yeah.
shouting into the crowd.
Yeah, true.
How far am I
the
away
cover
from
is,
the
the cover
cleric?
is blown.
You're 120 feet.
Is he aware of me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna run 90 feet towards him,
Oh wow, you're
using
faster
my
than
action
Gore.
and my bonus action to dash.
He's
This
fresh.
cunning action.
Yeah, and Pet Hagal's on your shoulder, so you have the help action.
Oh, I do?
If you need it, yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. Well, too late now. Already committed. Well, yeah, that's all my actions, bonus actions and whatever. So
Okay.
that's it.
Alright, the cleric's turn. What is he gonna do? Let me take a look at his spells. He's going to do freedom of movement. Which he's gonna cast on himself. Which gives you... You're unaffected by difficult terrain. No magical effects can reduce your speed. You can also spend 5 movement to automatically escape magical restraints, such as being trapped. He's going to start sprinting as well. He sprints 60 feet away. So just so we have a rough idea.
Wait, is freedom of movement not an action?
Freedom of movement is...
That is
oh, you're
his
right.
action.
So 30 feet, yeah.
Gore's gonna get up.
So that
Oh,
means
he can
Gore
just spend
was-
five.
Gore
He can just
sprinted.
spend 5 feet of movement to escape grappling.
Yeah.
Damn,
Well, non-magical restraint. Does
Just
that
gotta knock him
include,
out.
like...
that's definitely what I was going to do. I
Gore
was
was
absolutely
120
just going to grapple him.
Yeah,
70 feet away. Alright.
I was
There we go.
definitely gonna grapple him and not just kill him.
Alright, Zednius, what are you doing?
I'm running after. I'm like running the direction of him.
By the way, Peach, your mic is...
I'm just
I'm
keeping
so
up
sorry.
with him
That's okay.
because he
Yeah,
looks
you're
like he knows
keeping
where
up
to
with him.
escape.
Yeah, you use your movement. You still have your action.
It's so funny because Zednius can't escape this.
Yeah. What should I use my action on? Hold on.
I don't know, with how high you are, you might have disadvantage on everything.
True.
Disadvantage, just incapable.
I will. How far away am I from the group? Is it just me and him, sort of?
No, the rest of the group, the students have scattered in all directions. So some of them are like 60 feet away, other ones are like 10 feet away.
Okay. Am I just out in the open?
Yeah, you are out in the open with the cleric running for the rear entrance.
Okay. I am going to blind the cleric
Okay. How?
Oh my gosh.
with this.
Oh my god. Okay.
This guy's
You cast a
insane.
spell in the middle of the open on the cleric. He looks at you.
Fucking second level.
Damn, it's just verbal. Wow.
Pass. Take a check.
Okay.
Yeah, you say black, and then he does not go play.
Worth a shot.
All right, Lars.
Will Gore catch up to him off the next
Yeah.
40 feet? Or it's at the dash?
Oh no, it's 7 feet away.
Okay. You know how like a police dog would tackle, either like grab the sleeve or something, and, like use their weight against him to like swing them over down? Is that the same meme where he can break out of that like a grapple, or how does
Yeah.
that work? Okay.
Is it knocking him prone or is it grappling him?
It's supposed to knock him prone, but it's not an actual ability. I'm just saying it's something.
Oh,
that-
never mind. Okay.
Yeah. I'll just have Gore run up all the way to him, then next to him.
All right. As
He can
Gore runs
disengage, but it
forward,
means that he doesn't have to run as far. So.
as Gore runs forward, catching up with this fleeing cleric, Gore, all four sprinting after him. The priest begins to mumble a spell under his lips. And that's where we're going to pause.
I counterspell.
Well, we'll continue. It's not his turn yet, so he hasn't actually cast it yet, but he will.
Uh,
We'll continue this next week from right here.
You think
Yeah.
he's gonna be able to cast a spell, Pepe?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
about
work out
that.
the scheduling stuff then. Over the gap.
I mean, all of us are here now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
do
but
it.
Peach says she has to go.
right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have to
okay.
go like relatively soon.
Yep,
but
that's
if you
fine.
want to if you want to update me on like text
Yep,
chat.
will do. So next week we will finish apprehending this heretical priest of the Almighty, dealing with the rest of the bizarre leads given to you by the senator, and perhaps a task from Cicero, maybe even returning to the Deadwood frontier.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, and they're also high as fuck. And that is all we got for this week. And I'll see you when we next play, because it may not be next week.